much done and dusted. Only a couple more seconds to get them used.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to be able to use it here at this late stage, especially if you already burned a lot of your recalls earlier on. And let's see right now as Ray-Z is able to get a nice knock there on the tops with a nade. Another one would return as Bose catches Federales. And now here comes Win in the vehicle, possibly just trying to get some information. He gets some for sure. Pops out. Oh, that did sting.
Okay.
Razak though got the shotgun. S12K. Oh, gets knocked. And Team Flash put in the work here on Vitality.
Hey, we know what Ray-Z can do, but he's not going to do it this time around. Vitality go down. Flash playing on with 3. The recall towers are now shut down, which means that every elim will stick. There are no recalls available. The arena somehow managed to get straight to the center of this circle is kind of crazy, and to do so with 4 players alive, great news. Hopefully they can make that one work. Meanwhile, on the south side, you've got Godlike, Ita, and Furia all looking for position. Yeah, this is a replay, I think, on how Tony K went down.
Yeah,
he ran into the buggy. He ran into the buggy.
Yeah, well, it was that cover flare that ended up busting up that buggy, and it was just inching it little by little and just did enough damage to pop it. So you gotta watch out where you drop those cover flares.
Hey, no harm, no foul. They're all alive, and that's what matters right now. Nade over the top, over towards Enigma Galaxy, though, from Tianba, who have had to fight down from this north side of their compound. Enigma Galaxy have been hiding here for quite a while, and Tianba seemed to be an overwhelming force for them. Ralph, alone, isolated, away from the rest of the team. Ulf have been trying to push in from the east side, and somehow Scarface doesn't go down here. Finally does get knocked to QZZ. There is an answer, a little bit of damage, and it's 4 Thrives chiming in for a third party from the west side.
QZZ getting caught out by Ulf. And now Milo getting shot in his back from 4 Thrives. Yamba now are fully pinched. You got 4 Thrives looking at one side, Ulf looking on the other, and this is all outside of the circle. Disaster here for Tianba, who are looking so strong in this game. Gonna have to fight their way out of this position.
A lot of movement now necessary on the northeast side as well as on this south edge, and this is what I was worried about for Ida. They managed to get a couple of elims on the angle, but they trapped themselves behind the water. Wrapping around that one, it takes so much wind out of your sails. You just don't continue that speed. You don't carry any momentum in towards the circle. And they found out all about it. Furia were a roadblock for them, and they may have dragged Furia down with them, but for Emre, he's now got so much to do, and he's going to crash probably straight onto Aura, and almost certainly going to go down here. I'm so surprised he hasn't already fallen, and Emre just sneaking his way through.
Tianba on the drive-in now. Gonna have to force to just fully send it onto the middle, but they are getting beat up here. Sacrificing players one by one. Milu, oh, with a bad drive. And now it's up to the single player. Oh, he does end up catching 1 point. So Tianba hold on just for a little while longer.
Staying alive, staying in the thick of things. The arena unlikely to be able to push fully up and over with Ulf suppressing this angle. Akin can survive for just a while longer. And Ulf are going to have a tough time actually pushing towards this one with the suppressive fire coming in, but Akin does go down. That actually comes from Furia. Very long shot down from the south side. Close to max range, I believe.
Furia.
Yeah, 393 meters there, Ayala.
Ayala and Furia are putting in work here. 10 points on the board so far. Right behind him is OG with 8. They definitely needed those points.
Aurora this position. I mean, it absolutely could be, given their position with 8 elims. They've got some brilliant oversight. Not too many teams have the flexibility to challenge them. It is, of course, the Kiss Curse position, though, because you do have to leave it at some point. Well, almost certainly you're going to have to leave it at some point, and that is where things start to get a little bit muddy.
If this zone shifts to Aurora, they're getting like 20 points this game. Plus, I mean, this is the spot to have. But it is quite on the edge here. Let's see if they end up getting lucky. This is the time to get lucky in the map that you really want to get lucky on, that's for sure. But meanwhile, Nongship Red Force catching Chief out from Furia.
Sneaking in. A shot in. around the sides of those silos, through the fences. It is pretty resible, though, for Furia, I imagine. The circle does move away from Aurora, though, and up towards the north side. This is a lot of open ground that maybe Fourth Rise could try and leverage, but there's not a lot for them to try and work with. You could see just sweeping out to the west, it's wide open. You're going to need those cover flares, so it depends how many they've got in the back pocket. Create some of your own defilades with that destructible terrain. It's what they're going to be needing to do to control that north side. In the meantime, Furia still giving it large on the south side.
Doc starting to throw some nades in. They know they got to get moving here. They got those vehicles. They're smoking, though. Bose does go down. That's huge for the side of Aurora. And Doc trying to drive very carefully, little by little. Oh, I saw that crate. I need that. I need that. I got 300 rounds. I need more. I need that util. And he's going to find at least another drink because he was out. Swaps vehicles, and now Aurora just trying to leapfrog into this next zone.
Last player of Orangutan goes down in the meantime. IQ gets spotted out in the open. I mean, this is what I was talking about, right? It's such a difficult area to try and move into. The question is timing, and for IQ, he gets caught a little bit too early. And there's really no cover. But it is such a majority on the circle. If you can establish any sort of position out there, you start to get so much control. And with Aurora still able to use the high ground that they've been playing from, they have great sightlines to control that. But Fourth Rise will be able to move in. Aurora are also going to have to move. Oh, beg your pardon, have to move.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, though. This is Rondo, and if you don't got cover, you got to make your own. Use those cover flares, use that terraforming, and make it happen. You can see Ulf with a good, solid position that they've created for themselves. You got Aura on the other end, trying to sneak some eliminations. No fear, going to be laying down, trying to see if he can catch that pixel. He sees him. He sees him. Put some shots, but not able to get the knock.
Aurora rotating back in towards the compound, looking to extract more point value from these elims. Tourniquet will be spotted. Zjol rattles him down. And the rest of the team answering with a volley of fire. Emre, by the way, from Ida, still alive. A solo who managed to sneak his way on through. I imagine Aurora should be aware of this position. But we'll see if they deal with it or if they allow him to sit there in their buffer zone.
Zjol just getting set up here. I like how he risks it and moved that vehicle just a little bit further so he can cover himself from that angle. The crowd is hyped. They're excited. The Furia fans are going nuts. They see their team with 11 eliminations so far. And there goes Aurora starting to throw some nades. They are in this next circle, so they're just holding the spot for now.
Just holding it down. Slowly marching forwards. Nongshim Red Force making it very difficult for them to move up and through this compound. If they can get a knock, if they can open a way, might be an opportunity for them. There's trades back and forth across every single angle. Nongshim also have spots on towards Horror, who are trying to make their way up on the western edge. Oh, it's a nasty ascent up this hill. There is a complete broadside from Hyunbin. He's got that DP, a lot of ammo in the tank, and a big north shift comes through.
The circle goes up to the top and away from all of these teams. So all of them are going to have to start moving. Hyunbin, he realizes it. He's like, oh, we're in trouble. We need to just start getting some eliminations here because getting into this next circle is going to be almost impossible.
I'm looking at this circle. I feel like it's Aurora and Fourth Rise right now, who are, in some ways, stopping each other from being the best in the circle and therefore allowing teams from the south to have an opportunity. If this fight concludes one way or the other, which I don't think it will, Jukes, not at the moment, it could be pretty tricky for everybody else to march forward, but it seems like they found some sort of peace between the two.
Yes, that's the right play in all honesty. You gotta just throw the smokes in between, but like, guys, let's look down south. Let's get all these eliminations, fight each other later for first and second place, because, oh, this is a feeding frenzy here on the south side, as all these teams are just desperate to try to find a spot into this next zone. Hyunbin up close and personal. He's got the shotgun. He can make the plays, and Nongshim Red Force are putting in the work up close and personal.
Take down E-Arena, the lobby leaders right now, only getting 2 elims there, no placements. A nice result for the teams looking to chase. Ulf, though, in a little bit of danger as they try and sweep up from the eastern side and crash into 4 Thrives, but with Cypher going down, with 2 players left, actually only 1 player left in action.
Igor.
It's only IQ up on the north side, and Furia, in the meantime, are sweeping up. Over on the inside of the compound, Ayala on the corner, does go down to Nongshim as they move out to the east, but Furia now, 12 elims, they're looking for more, and a solo from Jiggle, the only thing standing in their way of controlling the entirety of this compound.
Make that 13 eliminations, Furia on a tear, Jiggle up on top, catches out the last player of Ida. Aurora, though, are just waiting for this. Gotta be a little bit careful with that cover flare. A little bit too close. Chief now forced to just run out the open. Jiggle with the jump down, trying to make the play in the 1v2. It's Igor to shut him down.
Hey, that's so nasty, though, because it does mean that Igor is going to be alone, solo, and will not be able to weather the storm of bullets sent his way by Nongshim Red Force. Now out in the open, it's Aurora as we transition up to the north side. And 4 Thrives, I mean, they lost so much on that push forwards, and it's just IQ now. Cypher, I don't think you're getting back over to him, mate. And he does go down. IQ, a solo for 4 Thrives. 14 eliminations for Nongshim Red Force. 10 for Aurora.
Big game.
Is a big game any way you cut it.
And it's going to be one of these teams that's going to win it. Who's it going to be? It's Aurora versus Nongshim Red Force. Yol gets knocked. That could be the opening volley. But Nongshim Red Force just gonna hold that angle. So easy, catches top as well. So just knock after knock, back and forth. That's gonna really hurt the utility from both these teams. Reefus, level 2 vest, pretty beat up. Sees an angle though. Hits the headshot onto Tizzy and gets the knock.
How do you do it to him, Reefus? Goodness me. That is a beautiful start, and this is the open ground I was talking about before, Jukes. It's just so difficult. There is that sloping ridge in front of Nongshim as well, that means they really kind of only have one angle to go, and it is fully covered off by Aurora.
Yeah, it's because Aurora is shooting some dang laser beams here at the end. The tiniest pixels, nothing but headshots. Nongshim Red Force, we know they got the gun skill to pay the bills, though. Gonna have to battle it out with Aurora because Aurora are on fire right now. Now they have the numbers advantage as well, top with 5, and look at that. Nongshim Red Force, they're just stuck. They're stuck in this one spot. They are laying down, but Hyunbin evens out the battle with that huge knock on his Yo. Perfect timing.
And it's a forward position as well, which means that in order to get them back up, they need to break forwards. For Aurora, they need to expose themselves. That makes it more likely. We're in a 3v3 clean. Hyunbin suppressing the corner of the rock there, looking to try and put them back behind it. And he will bury them behind it as Doc is taken down on the angle. That is resible, but it's going to allow them to move forwards incrementally, making their way, making their approach here. Reefus don't dare step up.
Hyunbin is just an absolute beast with these laydown plays. Putting in the work, catches top. Hyunbin is on fire. Making it happen for his team. Applies that suppressive fire on Reefus. Reefus cannot afford to get knocked here. If he does, he's gone.
He's got the MG3 from the crate, though. Is it going to be a lot of damage done to him? Ziol's been slowly bleeding out. There has been reses coming through, or attempted to come through from Aurora. And they do manage to pick all 3 of their players back up on the forward front. Ziol finally flushed. Reefus dying left and right with the MG3 barking loudly across the open ground, but not going to be enough. It's going to be the knock sent his way, and Nongshim Red Force are giving this an excellent go. Moving forwards, they make it to the rock, and they are just out of range. The nade goes forwards. Only top remains in the way, and the Molotov burns him.
Takes him down. It. Nongshim Red Force turning the tables on Aurora. Aurora was looking unstoppable, and then Hyunbin said, "Oh, you think you got it, huh? Nah, we got this."
Clean execution at the end from Nongshim Red Force. A brilliant exit from that location. It got so messy around those silos. Those compounds really, really tricky, and it's got to be so disappointing for Aurora as well.
They don't lose those.
You shouldn't be losing those, no. It is really, really tough stuff. But the open ground was so difficult to get in and towards, with 4 Thrives being in the way for Aurora. If they'd have been able to deal with that a little bit earlier, maybe they could have had more presence there and stopped Nongshim Red Force from getting as far as they did. But a brilliant oversight on the compound for Nongshim Red Force. The South Korean side managed to navigate that one brilliantly.
I mean, that's as fair as a fight as you get here, folks. I mean, I think out of all the fights I've ever seen Aurora lose, I think that is the most frustrating one for them, because they know that we just got out gun skilled Aurora? The Mongolian Super Squad? What happened? Hyunbin with those laydowns, making the plays, the pop-off, absolutely well-deserved. I mean, that was just disgusting.
Locking it in with the daps. That's what you got to do. You got to be pumped when you get those chicken dinners on side and on Rondo, no less, with a big elim count. That is a breath of fresh air for Nongshim Red Force, hoping to get another global level title as well, to convert from their recent win.
Sneaky. I mean, Nongshim Red Force, when they won PMMI, they weren't on top of the leaderboards until literally the last game, right? They stole that tournament. And now in this Rondo, with that many points, ooh, these leaderboards are gonna look dangerous.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Remember, E-Arena, Enigma Galaxy, again, going down a little bit earlier. That's gonna close the gaps once more, and teams can start to catch up. It is looking level. And again, it's that marathon style that we've got on today with the 8 matches from the delays that we had yesterday. The 8 matches today are going to test these teams' endurance.
We still got so many games left.
I'm so excited.
This is just Toronto. We got 3 more Air Gales, 2 more Miramars. How's Aurora gonna roar back though? That's gonna be my question. You know, Doc, he did not like that one. They did not like that. Yeah, they were like, there's no way we get bad beat here. Hyunbin, though, I mean, using that terraforming, you can just see for everybody out here that wants to be a professional player, these are the guys you got to look at here because, you know, in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And Hyunbin, with those laydowns, applying those suppressive fires, predicting where they're going to pick those heads out, hit a few crucial knocks, and he won that for his team.
Absolutely, yeah, getting those picks, absolutely crucial, like you say. And it is a really interesting feature. I think it's probably, for me, the most interesting feature of Rondo is the impact of those, well, actually, maybe 2, but the impact of having destructible terrain, being able to carve out those little divots, those little defilades with explosives, as well as the deployable cover flares. I think those 2 features make Rondo so interesting in these late game stages.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for those 2 features, I don't think either team would have been able to make it towards the end there. There was so much open ground, but they had to close it down, and the team to do it was Nongshim Red Force. We'll see you in a few.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
Last year, 4 Thrives arrived at the Pubg Mobile World Cup with an entire country behind them. As the first Pakistani team to qualify for Pmwc, reaching the world stage was already history. But once the matches began, they proved they had not traveled there just to participate.
He's found Mafioso, he's got the flush. Gario as well. Nucky, no! How can you do it to him? They want that first place where you're gonna have to prize it from his cold, dead hands. Squashed with a chance now, and he's able to close it down.
4 Thrives finished second in the group stage, going directly into the grand finals and eventually securing 7th place in the world.
Last year, Pmwc taught us to be more aggressive and more consistent to win this championship.
Their journey began at the PMGO Season 1 South Asia Finals, where they handled the pressure of playing at home and claimed the regional championship.
Now sending shots around the corner, so much damage done, and it's ended. 4 Thrives get themselves a chicken dinner and secure an unbelievably good position.
That victory sent them to Jakarta for the PMGO Season 1 main event. where they would face teams from across the world. And on the opening day of the grand finals, 4 Thrives took complete control.
Possible. IQ's down. A T24. We're a 1 versus 1. Weapon swap with the shotgun around his teammate. He finds it. He gets it done. And 4 Thrives.
After 6 matches, they had collected 3 wins and 82 points, building a commanding lead at the top of the leaderboard.
After the 3 chickens on PMGO finals day 1, our confidence boosted a lot. Like, we didn't felt any pressure and we knew we are going to win because we had a big lead.
The second day brought a different challenge. Every team in the lobby was chasing them, and every mistake could reopen the championship race. They finished with 122 points, 77 eliminations, and 3 wins to become the PMGO Season 1 champions, securing their return to Pmwc. Last year, they arrived as history makers. This year, they arrive as global champions.
Nothing has changed for us. Our hunger is still the same. Even you can say we are more hungry for this PMWC trophy. We are even more confident than before. We have more experience. We believe that we can be the team who can win this back-to-back global trophy.
4 Thrives have already shown that a Pakistani team can reach the world stage. Now, 4 Thrives head to the PMWC at EWC 26, ready to prove that PMGO was not the end of their rise. It was only the beginning.
I'm needing it, okay? I'm needing it. On the bro. I don't have nades. That's it, bro. Drop a C4, wait. Kitleyim ben. Riske atmayacağım. Mermi çektim. Tarıyorum Cema, full tarıyorum. Mermim yok ama. Mermim kalmadı.
ကျွန်တော်ဘယ်လိုပဲလဲဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်မှာတော့အဲ့ဒီ critical difficult ရှိရတဲ့ကြောင့်ပေါ့ကျွန်တော် return code နဲ့ဝင် return code ကိုတော့ထပ်ဖောက်တယ်အဲ့ဒါကို US region ဖောက်လိုက်ပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော် US region ဖောက်ထားတယ်ဒါဆိုရင်ကျွန်တော်တော်လာပြီပြအဲ့ဒီဟိုစတန်ကောက်ကဟို window တော့အစစ်မပြေကျွန်တော်ကိုယ်တိုင်လည်းမြန်မာ region နဲ့ဖောက်ခဲ့ပူတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ region chain လို့ပြန်မရဖောက်ခဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်အဲ့မှာတော်လာပြီ
and one of them being Aurora, showing Kalaris one of the biggest throws that we have seen. It looks so good until the end.
Everything was landing so well. They threaded the needle down on the south to be able to get between Godlike and Fury on that rotation. I thought to myself, they're playing
critical difficult ရှိရတဲ့ကြောင့်ကျွန်တော် return code နဲ့ဝင် return code ကိုပမာရမယ်ကျွန်တော် US ဆိုရင်တော့ဟို KP တို့ WP တို့ ERV ပေးလို့မှာတော့ဝယ်လို့မရအဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ seller နဲ့ရှာ seller တွေမှာသွားပြီးတော့သူတို့ဟိုပါဘောနော် seller ဘာနဲ့စပြီးတော့ဒေါ်လာ100တိဝယ်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့တော့မှကိုလိုချင်တော့ဝယ်ဖြစ်ပြရပါတော့အကေးကိုက Thailand နဲ့ Singapore region ဆိုရင်တော့ကျွန်တော်ခဏကျွန်တော်ပြောခဲ့တဲ့ TVZP ရယ် VP ရယ် EYEP ရယ်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ဘက်ကိုငွေတွင်းပြီးတော့ဝယ်လို့ရတယ်အဲ့မှာ return code တွေဘက်ကိုဝယ်လို့ရတယ်ကျွန်တော်ကတော့ဆောင်ပြတော့ဝယ်တော့ဒီဘက်ကိုတွင်းရတယ်ကျွန်တော်
saw from Nongshim yesterday, right? Because we were talking about Hyobin just being super aggro and going without his team and all of this, and he's done complete opposite of that today here. I will support you guys. I'll be that support player. I'll be the fragger, but I will let you guys go first.
I mean, it wasn't just this final fight for Nongshim Red Force. That was amazing. It was the parking lane control, dealing with anybody coming from silos, fighting into the circles as well. This for Nongshim Red Force was a masterclass in control.
The fight with E-Arena, especially. The thing is, that fight on E-Arena was executed so well. It was so snappy, so quick. But the fact that they survived that fight in the city, right? They're outside the city, playing against the other teams that were 4 Thrives, then win the fight to Aurora, all of that. Basically, while still keeping yourself up as a 4-man team is insanely impressive at this level of play.
I think there's very few
teams that can make it look that good.
No, because, and this is the thing, is this is one of the teams that can go from 0 to 100, right? They were in that compound, they were there for a long time, they were just kind of keeping away from E-Arena here, and then they just unleashed the beast. I mean, look at these eliminations coming in from each of the players so even across the board, and they just are able to just turn up the heat, go, okay, it's go time, and go for it.
Yeah, we usually talk about Human just being able to be the frag out power for this squad. TZ as well has been stepping up. It's good to see that all the players have been stepping up in this one. One of the biggest question marks that we have had for Nunchim, especially in these last 2 days, have been those placement points. For them to finally get over that hump, getting that chicken dinner, considering that the Smash rule is going to be in play tomorrow, this is going to make them really happy. I know you're really happy about it.
I'm loving it. Seeing Human and the boys getting so many points on board. But before this game, right, the placement points were at an all-time low. We just didn't see very many late-game finishes from this team. But the fact is, we just saw the graphic, right, they got eliminations on every single player. Very happy, but apparently Aaron is your MVP of the game, and he had some really good fights. One of those was 4 thrives. So good plays here from Aaron. I didn't expect that, though. It would be definitely a play from Nongshim Red Force.
1,200 some damage from the parking bay. I mean, it's one of the highest spots in that circle, never mind the silos that exist there. So it's a great spot to be able to have those engagements from.
No, it was very good indeed. And mentioning Ulfred, because they were in an altercation with 4 Thrives, and looking at the circle, I was like, okay, well, Nongshim has everybody in town to deal with. You've got 4 Thrives having to deal with Ulf, and so Aurora were able to actually just have the complete west side kind of to themselves, get that long-range third party going, which is that's their MO, and that's probably why we saw them do so well. While they probably should have had that win, was they were long distance, they were able to have that long distance, put some distance between them and other teams. But for Nongshim, for them to actually third party over onto Ulf in the 4 Thrives fight, just as 4 Thrives were kind of getting cleared up, that is true. They do.
Ida has something personal.
They do. It's so true. It's so true. But Nongshim really showcasing how great their timing is and how well they can actually read the lobby, what's going on around them, and take advantage of that.
One team that we've been following as well, especially today, that has been starting to kickstart it, is 4 Thrives. 4 Thrives, in this last match, they were controlling a lot of that north, but they were 2 split, even though they weren't man down. And this is something that we were harping on a lot yesterday from them, having unnecessary splits at times. They were being pinned down by Aurora, though.
They were being pinned down. It's a very difficult portion of zone. I don't think we've seen it be played that much. So when it's so open like that, it is difficult to try and have the control that you really want. But yeah, there were some changes that could have been made to that.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that when you look at how Nongshim Red Force had to play it in a very similar area, you see how flat that area is. You can't. There's a lot of times where people get stuck in urban endings and urban situations, and then you're thinking to yourself, okay, that team on the outside is going to be able to hold them off. But you saw how flat it was. They couldn't put pressure onto anyone coming from their 4 Thrives. They were there in a good spot, but they were there too early.
Yeah, actually looking at another team I feel like did really well this game is actually Furia, right? Able to jump up here in 4th position, get himself a total of 60 points, 2 points behind the podium, held down by Nigma Galaxy. But this game, how they were able to do actually a big jump around the teams in the southern side against Godlike and also the side of Ida, and then getting in the city and sweeping teams. Sure, they don't get the win, but highly impressive from Furia. They feel like now are building up their momentum. They're a very streaky team, and now I feel like the podium is where they want to head towards next.
That's back-to-back games too for Furia, being able to just show that aggressiveness, getting those eliminations as well, maintaining themselves within the 4th place. Because one thing that we're kind of looking at is E-Arena starting to create a gap with some of those teams. That's something that 2nd place, especially of esports, they had 2 outstanding mirror marks, and in this one we saw Eden being able to get the MVP.
I just want to bounce off what you said about Furia with the 2 good games, because I didn't like them moving into that silo location. I thought they could potentially backfill the west side after coming in super late on that south. But hey, they proved me wrong. I think that they really showed great presence of mind, great kind of space control when they were moving through, and were able to take the gunfights well.
Yeah, it was very nice indeed. I was watching them kind of how they were moving, because some teams like Aurora, right, you have your position and you kind of just stay there. There's not too much movement going on. For Furia, they were in the middle of the silos, and yet they were always looking, always moving, always trying to figure out where the next play was going to be. So very mobile, very proactive thinking. You could tell from how these guys were moving. Yeah, just very proactive, and that's what you want to see in the middle of a city fight like that.
Yeah, we did see the 2nd page there for a quick second, and I want to highlight one player from Godlike. Man, S-Power is putting up like so many great clutches. We had some clutches early on Miramar. He did it here on the hot drop right versus top. He was cooking the grenade, got the damage, forced to find CQC. I really do believe, and my favorite player from India, by the way, normally is legit. But I got to say, S Power is putting some global level fights here. He is looking highly impressive, and right now I would say the best player ninja by a significant margin.
Yeah, it's not even close, honestly, especially with S Power. Now all we need is to see what the non-sim players were able to do, which just wasn't just one player. We need all the players from Godlike being able to step it up. But as we're going to be heading into the first Erangel, let's send it over to Barney and Luti.
Luti, what an absolute treat today is.
I mean, 8 games, that's so many clips can happen today.
I know, 5 more maps to go,
Yeah,
so much
insane.
more PMWC actions come. But I tell you what,
Tell me.
we wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for the fans, right?
Of course, they're coming from all over the world.
That's right, and we've got some right here in the Kadir City grid as well, so why don't we check in with them?
Okay.
Okay, you want to check in?
Mike said he's better.
Oh yeah, all right, calm down, okay. All my fans on this side of the building,
Now they turn their attention to the grassy pastures, and maybe we'll get an answer to our question about a couple of our other teams, Dukes, because of course the thoughts on everyone's minds when it comes to these Erangel situations is what is going to happen in Pachinki.
Yep.
Is Enigma Galaxy going to be left alone, or is Ida going to continue down their futile path?
Well, that's the question, because the only other question is Enigma Galaxy going anywhere else? And the answer's no, I'll tell you that. So we're going to see what's going to happen on the side of Pachinki. But who's going to get these points, man? We're heading on over to good old-fashioned Erangel. We got 3 of these matches today, and this is the first one here in day number 2 of the finals, live here in Paris, France. This is the PUBG Mobile World Cup.
It's so American of you to say Paris, France, as if anybody was laboring under the delusion it was Paris, Texas. Come on. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. We're here.
It's about the same heat, though, I'll tell you that right now, because it was hot outside today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been pretty hot in these games as well, as we are channeling the sun. Even when it's hiding behind the moon, cheeky little sun, you know, got to get him back. We did indeed, but we are going across Erangel once more. The plane path splitting the middle in the most horizontal flight I think I've ever seen.
Right, that's as dead center as it gets right there, literally right down the middle. And you can start seeing these teams start to spread out. Top players, Aaron right now leading the charge when it comes to damage. But man, those leaderboards changing things up. E-Arena still up on top there. Enigma Galaxy down in 3rd, Wolf right behind them. But Aurora and Nongshim Red Force pushed themselves up. Now you can see Nongshim in 5th place with 59 points. That's a much more comfortable position. But we are starting to see some point gaps already starting to be present. This is the most important day here, folks, because that's what's going to set that smash point threshold. And E-Arena have a nice little gap here, so they're a little bit comfortable, but it ain't over yet. They got to keep that aggression up all day long.
Hey, you know what? I talked about it before, right? E-Arena, chicken dinner towards the start of the day, and then what happens, right? It's that question of then what happens. Oh, by the way, Ida, not in Pachinki. Enigma Galaxy will be left alone. It is a Gatka split drop for Ida.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you so much to all the coaches, to all the analysts, to the players. I love it.
Shout
I love
out to
it.
everybody, dude.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Shout out to Naruto.
Oh,
yeah. Get that Ninetales Furies Og, baby. You gotta get it here quick before it's gone. As the Naruto Uzumaki event is still going on. We had a nice little show match earlier. Got to see some of the A7 boys once again. Man, putting in some work. Dropping them jutsus. Them ninjutsus. Substitution jutsus.
That's what I've been told. That's what I've been told they're called.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Beautiful stuff. I mean, we saw that show match earlier today, which was great fun. I think
always
everyone
fun.
had a good time with
It's
it.
fun. Calaris,
And, you know, Alpha 7 have to win something.
yeah, they gotta win something, that's for sure. You know, anytime I get to hear Calaris cast the show match is incredibly loves to do those, so I'm so glad he was able to get one in.
He looked pretty good with the headband as well.
Yeah, he did. He rocked the red one too. I was like, man, this guy is styling today. Should have kept it on all day, in my opinion.
I think he has.
Has he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
right,
saw him
he
backstage.
has.
He was running with his arms behind his back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He does that everywhere now.
Wow. I like it. It's a good look. You should hold on to it. Speaking of good looks, right? Ulf looking pretty good today. I mean, they're in second place. They've been getting a ton of eliminations here. It's gonna be interesting to see how this whole thing fares out. I'm interested to see kind of how teams develop their mindset here going into today specifically, because I think a lot of squads just need to pretend like, hey, this is match 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just got our Rondo out the way, now into Erangel.
Yeah, Aaron doing a lot of work for the team on Ulf right now. The elims he's been able to find, picking them away from a lot of different scenarios. He's been able to extract just these sneaky little flush steals once or twice, as well as the rest of Ulf doing a lot more. They had a really solid position during that rondo. There were some difficult south shifts that forced them off that high ground mountain quite a while into the zones, which kind of took a little bit of momentum away from them, but the fact that they're able to convert and get a decent line on that game was pretty great, pretty great. And getting that match MVP title as well for Aaron. So yeah, in second place, good news for them. One step closer to E-Arena. It's a very tight grouping over towards the top side of these tables still. I mean, there is a bit of a drop-off, I think, you know, from 9th all the way up to 2nd. It's fairly flexible still, given the number of matches we still got left to play, but it's going to get a lot more solid, and teams beneath that, I feel like you're stretching a little bit far now to try and catch up.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of time, right? I mean, we got to look at the math of it. I mean, there's a lot of games still left to be played. I get where you're going with this, though, right? With how these top teams are performing, it's getting real scary here, right? So if you want to be able to make a run for that first place, you got to start performing here, right now. Especially for that 9th place on down. It really is starting to get chicken dinner time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've seen teams go, you know, back-to-back, triple chicken dinner. So for all you guys that are fans there of, you know, 4 Thrives, Vitality, Flat, S2G, all the squads down there, you know, give your team your energy, right? Start spamming the chat. They need that positive reinforcement here, because they are not even close to out of the running there. We got a lot of matches left to go, a couple good wins, and boom, they're at the top.
I'm looking right now at what Enigma Galaxy are doing. This split, we saw it from them in the previous stages. They played it in their group stage. They leave 2 players in Pachinki. They send 2 players out really, really wide. We've been denied the opportunity to see this happen over the course of these grand finals because of the hot drop with Ida. But now they are unleashed. They've been able to not only get the early loot truck and try and get a little bit of a duplicate on that as well, but they have been able to send out that early duo scout that they seem to find to be successful. They sent out towards Mill to Power before on a game that they were able to win in the end, and they now have a foothold over towards the west side in the fields that stretch out to the north of Quarry. And they'll have to figure out how to regroup at some point, but for now there's still a permeable line across the middle of this zone as the Arena tried to make it a little bit more waterproof and don't let the Eagle fly.
And the Eagle is grounded here. He's going to go to the lobby. That's the first elimination. Joker catching it. And that is devastation for this lobby, because, I mean, the Arena are red hot today. Just straight aggression, putting on some points on the board. That 2-2 split you called out there from Enigma Galaxy is great to see. See how well it works out for them, though. As they're putting that 2-2, yeah, because if the zone goes on over to the east side, they got a position locked down. If it goes on over to the west, they got a spot. So just depending on where the zone goes, but at the same time, it's difficult to get there. That's going to be the big question. Aurora, still a military base. They're going to be starting to push themselves up through the bridge side. Nobody gatekeeping it, so they should have a clean path on in. But we're still in the very, very early game here. Only one player in this lobby has been eliminated.
Yeah, only the one pickup found. We saw that. Over onto Tianba as well, which is not going to be friendly. They had a real glow up into the survival stage, I think it's safe to say. But here, it's not quite been as consistent. And when that's probably likely to the fact that you're adding the top 10 teams back in.
Yeah.
Right? You're coming back into the lobby with the teams that directly qualified. Tianba, it's great that they've gained that confidence. This is not the Tianba we saw in their group stage. But there is a little bit more force to come up against.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what they're trying to come to terms with.
This lobby is wild. It really is. I love to see just the progression here of PUBG Mobile. Back in the day, we had like a handful of good teams and everybody else was kind of pretty far down when it came to skill. But the skill gap has been closed, and teams are going to have to get moving real quick here. That 2-2 split working out for Enigma Galaxy, considering that they already have a couple players in this area. Vitality's right behind them, though. Coops got to get away from this one. He's on the drive. Trying to sneak away here. Serpentine, he's down low. Can he get away? No.
So close. And remember, the 2-2 split there means that he's just not got the cover of another of the rest of his teammates to actually take that fight. So for Enigma Galaxy, this is the worst case scenario. They've left Satan alone out on the western side. Ralph and Lord unlikely to be able to push on through. Ulf losing Aaron though, as they rotate out to the west as well, is a pretty big pickup for the lobby to be able to find that one. And in the center of this, it starts to get crunched in. Arena, I feel like they've got a pretty solid spot on this. Vitality trying to line the edge of that swamp. Defend it like an ogre.
Run, Satan, run. He's all by himself, just trying to find a position for the rest of his team. But the rest of his team is going to have a tough time rotating on over to him.
Yeah.
It will be.
That's, I was just having a little chuckle to myself about how it looks like Satan's trying to go over the north and...
It's Cambodia. On steps in his way of halving the deficit here at the Jello Vessel. Tirasak goals. Good time on the front. Yeah, good time to get back into this now.
Driving away, using that hovercraft to find an off angle.
This is just adding to the drama.
It's going to make things interesting. Vitality going to have to make some plays though. Arena catching out Raul, so that 2-2 split not working at all. But that fade is going to be good from Haifa. And 4T turning things around. There's another one!
Hell yeah.
You had to know it was coming, Ansel, and you pay the price.
T24 does get flushed in the meantime. S2G third partying this from the south side. Hot Jukes Razak is in the hovercraft, but it starts to go up in flames, and down he goes. 4 thrives. Ruthless aggression roll up. Coming on in. Hit him with the suplex and take them down out of the ring. They are no longer in this Royal Rumble.
Ooh, welcome to Soup. Are we going to see another crazy hardship?
Kind of chill, given the layout of all of our teams,
sure,
right?
We're already here.
A lot of them decided to go down south. The major feature that caused this is those fields, right, that sit to the south of Hospital. Nobody wants to sit in them. It is really nasty to be in that sort of area, as well as Everest being a roadblocker on the northeast side of it. It creates this lineup. So teams funneled into this south side, so a circle like this actually benefits the majority of the lobby.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I mean, they were already all set up in this position. The zone going here, super beneficial. This is a huge spot here, and it's a battle of contention. Aurora starting to push Nongshim Red Force. It's a rematch, and And Nongshim Red Force win once again.
No doubt in my mind that's how it should have gone in that last match. They make it happen, repeating history. And does that mean that Aurora are living up to the definition of insanity? I don't know, but they're going to have to change something if they want to win the fights against Nongshim and join them back up on the podium, because they are putting some pace down now, the South Korean side, opening distance and take control of an area on the south edge of this circle. Putting pressure onto S2G, stopping Godlike potentially moving in, as well as Flash off in the distance.
I've had the pleasure of being able to spend some good quality time with the players from Aurora, especially after their performance at PMGC. And I'll tell you one thing, if I know these guys, they are fuming right now.
Well, you know, it's not infrequent that Doc wins the MVP award, despite not winning this tournament.
Yeah.
And he's not necessarily on track to do that here, but yeah, it's evident that they definitely are gunning for this top spot, but right now they're being denied.
Yeah, let's take a look though as we move on over to some of these other fights. Now 14 teams are remaining. We got Aurora Vitality out. A couple players from some other squads out as well. Wolf did lose a player early on, but E-Arena two eliminations. They
side that went so quickly kind of devastated them. If it hadn't been as hard, basically, I think almost any other circle, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as devastating for them. It was just so nasty because everybody started flooding west almost immediately. Oh, speaking of difficult circle shifts, that is pretty nasty. But yeah, the regroup was then completely blocked off.
did it
The
again.
gap started to close, and the backstop for Enigma Galaxy wasn't pacey enough to catch up this time. Yeah, disappointing, unfortunate. Maybe they need a hot drop to be able to perform well in these games. Maybe Ida should go back to Pachinki, and that's what they've read into. But you know, Ida pretty happy with themselves that they didn't right now, because they have that Gakka position. They are one of the only teams in the northeast side in these open fields.
And they get blessed here in this circle, and that just goes to show sometimes a hot drop is good to avoid. Satan all by himself. Oh, he's so in trouble. It's on fire. That Murado, he's going to have to pop out late.
You have this little defilade, you're kind of covered off from the buildings out in the open. The nades, though, from Nongshim Red Force does make it all the more terrible.
That looks pretty...
With which they rolled up does make it harder, but he's still got a little bit of fire in the belly.
Less terrible now. Yeah, Satan on the move. Did get a nice knock there, and now it's bad.
Okay, yeah, well, he's not there anymore. My point was, there is a little bit of cover, and teams on that ridgeline can't necessarily peek over the top. The reason that they were able to do so is because there isn't so many teams out in the open fields, right? And if it happened a little bit later, maybe that would have changed. So I think I read a little bit too much into that to call it enough cover. But either way, he does go down.
6 shot, though.
One of the very few players to be able to knock Hyunbin on that trade, though.
Yep, that was really nice.
Just saying.
Just saying, indeed. Not an easy feat.
Hora.
Wow, what happened to Hora?
They tried to roll in from the west side, and it didn't work. I think that's a pretty apt summation of what's about to happen.
Hate to see it.
Yeah, you do. Orangutan have a real opportunity, though, to find an isolated outpost as the south side gets hot as well.
Yeah, it's getting hot indeed. You can see so easy on fire. But down to 1 HP. He's going to get knocked. Ula looking to take out Nongshim Red Force.
S2G.
And now here comes S2G. This Wizard Tower is by far one of the most dominant positions in this zone, and that's why so many teams, they want it and they want it bad. S2G on the push. They know that that Wizard Tower is weak from this hillside. Starting to throw some utility out, trying to see if they can get a good opening knock here.
Seems like they're slowing it down, though. Over on the northwest side, you've got E-Arena at loggerheads. Scrapping it out across the way as well with Furia. 2 players, 3 players now down. Turney K's on the inside, terminating with the P90. Pops the reload there. Gets the ammo back into control, and the res can come through as well for the backlines. Furia are going to get dismantled, and they get taken down.
Oh, it's rough, especially considering they lost out to E-Arena. They feed E-Arena 4 more points. The White Rabbit really on the run here. Hopping to victory. Next zone, where's he going? If it centers up, it's going to be disgusting as that field is wide open. Okay, it goes to the north side.
Is it like a rule that the circle has to touch the edge of the previous one in this game?
Just hug it.
It's just like, yeah, I just pick a point around the circle. Yep. I attach myself to that. See what we're going to go for. Another hard shift is crazy, but it's a crazy fight unfolding for Godlike as they find one, try and trade it around the corner with Team Flash, and Tops goes down, put into the meat grinder there.
Let's go at Mino, getting a nice knock and finish. 4 points on the side of Godlike. Haven't had the hottest of starts here. Still putting up some points on the board, though. OG, other Indian team, putting in some nice knocks. And Godlike OG are right next to each other on the leaderboards. Again, still a lot of matches left to be played. This could be that start for them to take charge. Few good games is all it takes.
There's fewer and fewer matches, though, getting played. Alula try and roll up, try and take this fight with S2G. But it's not going super well for them as they haven't even been able to find that knock onto Ham breathing down their necks. They've only got 1 player, and Yasser is already sending out into the open. 4 Thrives getting roadblocked on the northern rotate as Ulf and the Arena sit in front of them. Alula losing their final backstop, and Godlike now trying to roll up into the engagement as Ida takes shots from a distance.
Yeah, and that's it for Alula. Now you got S2G that we're holding this Wizard Tower here, but is now outside of the circle. They're gonna have to get moving. Meanwhile, you got Tianba trying to get rezzed up here. Out in the open. They got a couple busted up vehicles here for cover, utilizing those smokes as well, but the pressure is imminent. Now comes Scarface. Scarface with a nice nade onto Joker. That's gonna finally pepper E-Arena's position. But now E-Arena are in this next zone. Godlike trying to possibly gatekeep this. I almost ran right into that nade. That was dangerous.
Solo remaining for Nongshim.
Did they spot him?
A spiteful look in his eye, a glint, a gleam of malice, but it's spotted by Solke. He sees that one gleaming in the grass and puts it down. Snake out of action.
That's huge. Now they don't got to worry about that anymore. But now they got to worry about Godlike as they got one of those players up close and personal. Gonna switch on fights all over to this fight, though, as E-Arena, top team in the lobby, still alive. Now we're back.
Hey, they're more than alive. They're kind of thriving on this northwest side in that fight. Goodness me. Godlike losing their backstop there as Mino goes down. And now playing on as 2 chunks being torn out of everyone as Turney K continues to turn up the heat with that P90. Finds a load of elims from Ulf.
Turney K now taken out. That is huge. That's going to be from Aching. Tianba now getting in the mix. They know it's E-Arena, so if you're Tianba, this needs to be your hard focus here. You want to be able to slow them down.
I mean, you want to, sure. You absolutely do, but the question is, can you? With Turney K out, you're right, without that P... Oh, wait, hang on a minute. I think Joker was able to recover the P90 just there.
Do you have ammo for it, though?
I believe he was able to pick everything up there from the body.
Oh,
but it's a hard shift again.
What is going on?
It has to touch the previous circle.
It's a rule.
I'm telling you. It's something about this game. 4 Thrives, they're going to have to leave, but they may have to leave one of their players behind as Falak has taken a knee. Scarface down low. Last player alive for Ulf. A nade over the top from
down
IQ.
Low.
Good bounce. Rolls under. Right behind the wheel arch and it's right in his face. Bye. Scarface, you can't chew that.
Oh, man, he ate that one. And 4 Thrives on the move. IQ going on over to Falak. Gets the res right on time. Save.
Able to keep things alive. No idea what that was. Able to keep him alive, but Zypher not so lucky. As Falak will get back to his feet. but they have a long road to tread now. S2G covering off the south rotate, and I feel like E-Arena sweeping around may not be the worst idea. Maybe try and push through for Thrives, continue on, challenge S2G's backstop, maybe. Oh, it's a difficult approach. No matter which way you cut it, but for E-Arena, they're already on 6 elims, Dukes. They're already into the top 6. They're having a good game, and everybody from 2nd down to 6th has already gone down.
Oh, Schweppes spins out and gets punished. Balak barely moving out the way, gets a couple, but now there's Mormon up. IQ, gotta make a play here. You need to stop E-Arena. They have been too dominant so far. They are putting in work. They take down Balak. Now Mormon gonna have to run away. This nade looks good from IQ, though. Oh, it gets to secure 4 Thrives. Finally shut down E-Arena.
Okay, so they are drawn a little bit shorter than they could have gone. Really nice hold there from Fulak, I think, on that roll-up from E-Arena. He was able to do so much damage. Unfortunately, not able to survive, but IQ was, and he was able to put a 10th elimination on the cards there for 4 Thrives. They have been blasting on this western side in the thick of it. The fight, seemingly, where the flower of their success has bloomed. IQ now rolls over the top, steps up with Aching, and he springs out wide. Nearly sends to the sky, but will take the tumble, finally going down, and breaches them up to 60 points.
Oh, and now you can say, I'll take that, Buggy. Thank you very much. As he's going to go ahead and head into this next zone. Uh-oh, getting shot up. Oh, that hurt.
I think he is.
And S2G said, no, sir, not today.
Not getting in here. Access denied. Hey, you know what's brilliant?
What's that?
Ida didn't hot drop, and now they're in the final circle, Dukes. Isn't that great?
It's almost like it was a good idea.
Who'd have thought? Who could have thought that not dying immediately would be a good idea? Orangutan trying to break out from their compound on the north side, but again, so open. 2 teams with broadside on you. I don't think you last that much longer here. A cop on that north edge. I feel like we're just waiting for him to go down here.
Oh, yeah.
And he falls.
Goodbye, and S2G finally starting to make some noise here in Erangel, but it's S2G versus Ida.
2 teams from Turkey. Out in the open, though, S2G definitely have control of this circle.
Oh, yeah.
At the moment, Ida are completely penned in within their compound, and with this circle, they have to leave. There is no 2 ways about it.
Man.
They have to get out of there. The question is how you do it. The start needs to be a big pick.
The zone didn't touch the edge.
Oh my goodness. Crazy.
What a change up here. Kamikaze able to find a P90 and full level 3 gear. Oh man, that is just so good on the side of S2G. Gotta be careful though, he's gonna be hiding behind this tree. Cannot afford to get knocked, but they have full control of the circle. Ida have to move out. If you're Ida right now, you really need to kind of start peeking and trying to find a pick. If you can get a good knock here.
I think. No, they're just mounting up. I mean, look at the timers on those smokes. Yeah, they're just going to go for the vehicle rollout and try and crash it. They're going to try and read the zone. The laying out back, the laying out wide for S2G. They've left a trap for Lost to be able to find the pickup, but Rita may be able to find something. The fact that there's only 1 knock set to Ida is not great for S2G, but finally get a second. There is finally an answer, and Emre charges in, but the ammo count is very, very low there, and they've already lost 2.
Trying to get this confirmation. He should be able to get at least 1. Yeah, he'll take that point. All right, well, that's a consolation prize. But S2G looking to make this happen unless Darkin gets a good shot. He's only got 21 rounds left.
In the Mini 14.
And Kamikaze's full level 3'd out. That's going to be a hard knock.
I mean, there's plenty of ammo left in the back pocket there.
Oh,
Kamikaze.
ouch.
Oh, what a lineup. Steps out a little bit too wide there. And Emre able to shut it down, but he's getting crunched in by the zone. Forced in, but S2G seemed like they had complete broadside here, but now we're in a 2 versus 2. Emre steps back into the blue. Baits Sulke out for the peak, but doesn't quite confirm. He's still down on his belly, though. Stands up, goes for the fight. Does take a lick back, but Sulke puts him down. A 1 versus 2 as Darkin spreads out wide, tries to sweep over towards the off angle.
Hit the gas. Darkin coming up close and personal, and Hatsuji with the DBS. And nah, not today. This is our game to win. That's a big S2G chicken dinner.
S2G going God mode at the end there. chokehold on the zone, able to take it all down. Nobody standing in their way. Really nicely felt there on that south edge. For Ida, a little bit too passive in their zone, in their compound, but they survived deep into the match, Jukes, and that is a good result. I feel like they were able to do, well, I know that they were able to do a lot more than they've done in any other Erangel over the course of this tournament.
Yeah, or any other game in this tournament.
Of these
right?
finals.
Yeah, this is huge for the side of Ida. Honestly, a great finish. They were stuck in those buildings. That's a hard one to win. I just personally would rather see them just from those buildings really try to pursue a knock before just randomly sending it in. I think that would have been the play. But hey, you know what? To each their own. Sometimes you got to go for it. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But S2G, I mean, they're so good at just popping people out of vehicles that it just made it hard. But we did see that solo player from Ida really put in work towards the end, almost turned things around for them.
I mean, Emery was doing a lot over in the open field there. I feel like what happened there was that they got information on the back lines on towards where Lost was, and they were able to flow out that way, and that's what they went for in those final moments. Maybe a little bit over-invested on the angle, though.
Let's listen in to hear what they have to say on that match.
Sürünüyor ya. Bak eve bak. Evdeki arabayla çıkıyor, sağlı çıkıyor. Tamam. Hamsi soğuk gibi bakman lazım ona. Hadi arabayı tutacağım, bakacağım.
Ha, çok mermim yok, sıkmayacağım, gelsin.
Geliyor, sana geliyor. Pozisyon alacağım.
Nice oğlum, nice, çok iyisin.
That sounded really chill. That sounded really chill, relaxed. They felt in control, and I could smell it.
Oh, yeah, they knew that that was their win. Yeah, let's get high, folks. This is what it's all about. The best of the best on the planet battling it out for some major money. What a game. S2G finally get their win here, and we still got a whole bunch of more games coming up.
WC26, I'm the 7WG, and I'm joined by none other than the record-breaking man, Snacks Gaming. Snacks, how are you enjoying Paris so far?
I'm in amazing bonjour and representing India here doing the watch party. I'm the first Indian ever to host a watch party officially from the S tier tournament, World Stage, World Cup. First Indian ever to do the watch party, and I'm super proud that these 8 boys, the game they showed in the group stage, the way they qualified, the standard they have set, because we don't get to play regularly these lobbies, and the way they adapted these lobbies and the way they qualified made us proud, and that's why I'm here.
That's the biggest one, the way that they have adapted to the lobby. I feel like it's one of their biggest strengths too. We saw that with OG, we saw it with Godlike as well. Talking about Godlike, no more hot drops out of that team. They started performing a lot better here in these last matches.
In the group stage, as they said, they did try to experiment the drop fights. I mean, they had a lot of drop fights, but initially for the first day of the group stage, they didn't felt good after taking the drop fights. They switched the playstyle, and now they're playing safe for the initial part of the drop. Then after that, if they survive 4-man, you have seen the players' potential. The way S-Power clutched, I mean, I feel like it's going to be the clutch of the tournament. The way he played, the gunpowder these boys have is insane. I just want them to stick together, play 4-man together, because in this lobby, it's all about team game. It's all about the way these teams isolate fights. And I wish they play together and they bring something really good performance back for India.
And I'm hoping that's going to be the case, especially with the first round that we just saw, and then on the upcoming matches as well. I think they will be able to bounce back. I have Godlike finishing in top 5 and OG finishing in top 10.
Damn.
What are your predictions, brother?
I mean, I just want them to do good, because we don't know the struggle they have been going through. We don't know the grind, how much grind they have did. Everything answers only through the gameplay. I wish we get top 5 for both the teams. It's going to be a huge thing for India, because again, I said we don't get used to play regularly in these lobbies, and we get more opportunities because of these boys. And all these players watching from India, all these esports players watching from India, they'll get inspired and they'll feel motivated to do more for the country.
100%. Shukriya, bhai. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the show, and I hope that the Indian teams continue to step it up. Back for some more PMWC at EWC 26. interview with Snacks Gaming. I'm glad that he was able to make it here to Paris, EWC 26 for PMWC, the grand finals. But let's talk about this game because S2G, we finally got a chance to see S2G the way that we have been wanting them to. Pretty much having to grind out that circle, having to push people away like they were able to do with Alula.
It was clearly a Turkish wombo combo right there. First and second place got Ida getting himself to second place finally, right? Can talk about that a bit later on. But yeah, S2G, beautiful fight onto Al-Ula. There was Godlike, there was also Nongshim Red Force, and they were all vying for that one Harry Potter tower down on the southern edge. And overall, the fighting capabilities of S2G have been soaring in the finals, and we just see more consistency, which is what I was hoping to see from this roster.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy right now the classic Kamikaze, which is now canonically known as just the full center as a one player, and then just dominate from there. And the thing is, Kamikaze can get it done, which is super interesting. He just exerts a lot of control. Soul K from the backlines on that anchor, super cool. Wouldn't call it a wombo combo. I wouldn't be comboing Ida with S2G. That's not fair. I'd have them separately. You know, S2G, you know, maybe up here, and then Ida maybe down here, something like that.
I feel like that was the only time I could really say it, so that's why.
Sitting at the end giggling at you guys. Can I just hand it over to IQ? Can I just
you
an
may.
MVP right now? Because holy guacamole, the clutch insanity from IQ right now. Obviously, you know, we kind of want the rest of Fourth Thrives to join in on that action, but the clutch ability and also the decision making and the macro calls from IQ right now is insane. Also, the opening fights and frags that IQ is doing. We obviously saw it on the rooftop. I think I blinked. I think me and Max just kind of blinked, and I was like, wow, that was the fastest kill I've kind of seen. But like, it's insane the performance coming out of a single player right now.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw him being able to get that first knock on Vitality. I ended up jumping off my seat, Max, because that was such a good opening, and it was actually the decision making, as you were just mentioning, Lace. The decision making from this squad is something that we keep kind of questioning, but they were able to just send it right away to Vitality without even thinking about it. They were like, one knock, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good decision making overall. We're just trading mics all over the place. But no, it's lovely to see that IQ gets that opening knock with an insanely accurate burst spray. Like, that was just a beautiful execution, and the team is like, well, we have the man advantage. Might as well send it and actually get that engagement. So yeah, IQ's just been spectacular, not just in terms of the eliminations he's able to get. We're just trading stuff right now still. But also in the terms of the opportunities he is able to create for the entirety of his team. And when an opportunity has been made, man, they just fully send it.
They do fully send it. Let's take a look. Actually, I want to see Fourth Thrive stats so far, because this team is one that has been picking it up so far today. They've been getting those eliminations. I want to see a little bit more placement points out of this squad, especially for this last match. IQ is not just Falag too, Blank, because that's one thing that we always talk about Fourth Thrives. Falag, who Sypha has been able to step it up to when we ended up thinking about PMGO. T24 is that player that just really hasn't been performing that well. I'm hoping is going to start picking it up.
I mean, T24 has always been a really good player, right, overall, which has been nice to see. But you're right, Huzaifa putting a lot of work here. IQ, you were talking about clutch ability with the macro play as well on side. I mean, he's making some good calls right now. I think for this game, you know, getting deeper and deeper into these matches is a really, really important thing for Fourth Thrives. There was a lot of love from the crowd there as well, which was great to see. Also, going to just say, why have you got a heavier mic than to all of us? Your mic, like,
here, let's switch it.
What, you want yours back? King Mike.
So I can talk to Tomash.
This one's like less. Ooh,
smells better.
Yeah, this feels lights, you know, light on my feet on the desk. You can call this a desk because I'm more of a couch. But yeah, overall, I think I completely agree with you. Macro-wise, looking great. I do just want to kind of bring it back to Tiamba right now. They did drop in.
Max, don't leave me hanging. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Hey,
please go on.
Let's chat about Tiamba, right? We had a lot to talk about them today, didn't we, Lace? They've dropped in a new sub now in Shallow. Milu's out for the time being. I think that the team definitely slowed down in a big way. It is hurting them a lot. We're not seeing those snap decisions anymore.
Yeah, it's not even like that they're trying to do something a little bit different. It's now just their strategy is not working for it's insane to see. They're still making the same strategies, the rotates, but when going into a fight now, they seem to be losing it, which they're playing their same game, but it's not working out for them. So I'm seeing I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
Me too. And one team that's been picking it up, especially here in the last couple of games too, has been OG. OG has been able to step it up. We saw them finish in the top 4 situation right there. And they've been we even saw them in Rondo being able to get eliminations too, switching it up a little bit more, using the Rondo since they're able to revive people, trying to be more aggressive, Max.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see the aggression we witnessed from them back in their respective group, right? It kind of fizzled out. They've been more passive from time to time. But no, here actually a really good 2-2 split, maintaining that high ground position up north and sending 2 players down. I understand the reasoning behind it, but at the end, pushing that compound is incredibly rough onto Ida as we check out all of the winning teams of today. But I do want to highlight here before we do wrap up this desk, man, Ida finally gave up the drop onto Nigma Galaxy. Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
It's good, right? You know, getting a second place off the back of that is cool. I was almost expecting them to clutch up there versus S2G because that is very typical Ida, is just to get all the way to an end game and then just have a really silly win at the end of it.
Yeah, Ida, sorry, I'm thinking about Furia because I saw them being able to get that chicken dinner earlier in the day. But Ida, yes, I agree with both of you. I'm glad that they finally just stopped doing that hot drop and decided to change the mentality because they were in last place before they decided to make that change. One team that's currently not in last place and is wanting to challenge that first place is none other than Furia, and I believe Kalara's got a chance to talk to them.
Hey guys, of course I am down here on the stage with Ayala as I have him after this great performance here throughout day number 2 of the finals. My first question here for Erengel is, sorry, Miramar even I should say, in the second Miramar. You guys had great space control to be able to eventually get yourself to that win. So talk to me about that late game and what threats you might face.
Queria perguntar como é que foi o jogo de Miramar para vocês, né? Ali no final, como é que vocês estavam se sentindo ali no late game? Qual foi a estratégia de vocês?
E aí, tudo bem? Esse jogo aí a gente começou perdendo o chifre, só que a gente não desistiu e continuou querendo. A gente jogou bem esse jogo mesmo estando em trio. Então a gente ganhou os morros, foi jogando juntos e a gente conseguiu ganhar a play.
So it was very nice play. We managed to get it through with 3 players, so it was really important for us. We made the right decisions and we could get it.
Awesome. So let's talk about the Rondo for a moment, because that was great as well. You guys eventually entered into the silos, the urban area and things like that. And I thought you were going to be in a lot of trouble, but you actually looked amazing in that execution. So what were your concerns on Rondo? Who were you kind of looking out for and how did you execute that?
A partida de Rondo também foi muito boa, né? Vocês entraram ali no silo e ficaram por ali. Parecia que ia dar ruim algumas horas, mas conseguiram sair muito bem. Quais eram as suas preocupações ali nessa queda e nessa partida? O que vocês estavam sentindo?
Nessa partida de Rondo, a gente começou bem, fazendo mais kills no começo, depois fomos pegando mais kills, só que a gente errou em algumas coisas no finalzinho que a gente depois da play conversou, então tomara que nas próximas plays a gente consiga ajeitar tudo para conseguir ganhar esse campeonato.
So it was a pretty nice match. We managed to get some kills on the start and in the middle game, but by the end we did some mistakes, but after the game we talked, we solved those mistakes and we are better for the next ones.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Ayala. That is it for us here down on the stage.
Thank you, Kalaris, and thank you, Ayala, as well, for that great answer. And yeah, for this team, I mean, they started off hot today. This last match, though, ended up being a big old donut. I think they'll be able to bounce back.
Ayala, you may have your driver's license back. I will bestow it upon you once more, because now the decisions to use the vehicle are working for you and not just going in there and seeing what sticks. But no, look, the elimination consistency from Furia is, you know, we always speak about it. They are a sort of an aggressive dominant team. But now, you heard it from them. They're taking it there. They are moving a little bit further in placement points, which is exciting to see, especially on the map where they they got their chicken dinner and the way that they were able to just wait. Sometimes they just get a little bit too happy aggressive and they're like, you know what, we're going to create our own play. However, the patience that they are showing now, especially Max, it's just working for them, and it's a great Furia look.
It really is. I mean, I kind of want to go a little bit deeper almost on Furia, in the sense that I was expecting Silence and Ayala to put up big numbers, which they still are on occasion, but I feel like Higot has really risen up the ranks in this tournament. He's gotten so many great plays. Sometimes where players will give him a lot of 1v1s, and you don't want to do that to Higot because you will get those eliminations if you give them that slightest opportunity to fight back. But yeah, Higot is looking great, so literally the entirety of Furia has that potential to be in the top 10 players in this event.
But you got to remember, Igor, too, is a player that has won MVP in the past for Americas, too, when he ended up being in previous teams before joining Furia, right? So we know that he can definitely put up those points. We just want to see Silence even more. Silence, what's your pick for MVP? But let's take a look at the overall so we can see where some of these squads are currently sitting at, because I would love to see where Furia is currently at, with E-Arena still being in first place. the gap being there about 18 points from Ulf Esports.
Well, I mean, for Isla and Chief as well, like back in Liquid days, I think for, honestly, those boys, the big thing about their team play was that they locked down endgames massively. They massively locked down endgames. We're not quite getting there yet. We are slowing things down, like you say, Lace, which is a very, very good thing to get those placement points on board. But I think that as soon as we start seeing Fury in those endgames, we're looking really good. Nick McGalaxy's still up there. Ulf looking fantastic. I mean, it's more consistent than anything. They haven't really been a big driver in these matches, but sitting at 67 points right now, I think they can push that a little bit further. But Aurora slowly slipping down these rankings now.
Yeah, Aurora is starting to be a bit of a red flag for me as well, Lace.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing to see. They're getting active and busy in sort of these mid games, but they're not sort of pushing it any further than that, and not sort of solidifying any eliminations. It's kind of like I feel like Aurora and especially Ulf, they're obviously doing well. They're not on that second page, but I kind of feel like they're just sliding by. Consistency's there. I would say Aurora has dropped more consistency than Ulf, for example, but I'm kind of just feeling like they're grazing by.
I mean, Aurora, actually, if you compare the placement points to the teams above them, they all got wins, right? 1 win, 2 wins. So actually, the placement points are not bad. It's just really the eliminations they're missing out on. Second page, though, teams
Which is wild.
Yeah, starting to still linger down here. But keep in mind, Ida started the day with 2 points. Now they got 25. They're not in the bottom rank anymore.
Stop hyping them up. They've had one good game.
I got to praise them. They didn't hot drop. Okay, so I don't want them to go back to it. Good job, Ida. Keep it up. Yeah,
it's like a kindergarten right now.
Ida fighting.
Good job. You used blue instead of red there.
You get a gold star. Yeah.
I mean, I want to see more Ida. I think Emre's a great player, but we have to be honest. We do have to be honest here about it, where it's not looking great. I'd like to see them push that a little bit further now going forward. But yeah, I do think they're a good team. I think they're a good team. It's just I want to see more out of them. And until then, I'm not going to be praising them for not hot dropping 3 times in a row.
I will. I'm still happy. So
I know you're a lovely guy compared to me.
Hey. By the way, I want to say I'm a little bit scared for Ulf because they're in second place. They got the second place curse. They're Sook 2.0, right? PMGC last year. PMGO Season 1, they got second place, right? Just behind the likes of 4 Thrives and just above Furia. Second place and Ulf is not a great storyline. They're not friends, but they're still up there.
What was that about the nice guy thing? No. Look, I obviously on that second page just want to touch on Godlike. Their close range battles, amazing. But unfortunately, they're sort of hanging around that engagement too long. And these are sort of in the mid to late games where obviously smaller circle, more teams, third parties are happening. So they're not sort of leaving this engagement fast enough and making that decision to put themselves in a nice spot. However, yeah, their fights, close range, mid-range, in buildings has been so good to watch. And whether it be the whole team or just 2 of them, they do have that firepower and strength and they're holding on really well. So I do hope that, you know, after this engagement, they can move a little further in with their placement and just get those top 5s.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. It is a great point there. Close range combat is really, really good. I think so far in the finals, S-Power has made the best play to date.
Yes.
His Longhouse fight was just, he was a weapon in that moment, a deadly one at that. I mean, the Molotov through the door, I think the impressive thing about that, it doesn't look amazing in the moment, but the amount of times teams will just bank that Molotov off the doorway and it will just burn yourself out. He ends up finishing Vitality with that Molotov, so it's like a lot of presence of mind in those moments, which is great. But coming back to your point, I think there needs to be, yeah, exactly, presence of mind going forward after that of where you want to take the next thing. I'm willing to give this team the benefit of the doubt right now. I still think they're trying to figure out the pressure on a main stage like this, and it's totally okay. And I think they should be proud of what they've done. I think it's nice to see 2 Indian orgs with like very different play styles as well, you know, learning the battlefield and actually doing fairly good in it. I think OG as well is starting to level up. Aru's getting those eliminations, but so is a Tanky, and I think a Tanky was a great player.
That was the biggest question mark for OG, right? Wondering when the other players were going to start showing up, not just Aru. And I'm with you with during the Godlike and that Molotov. In that moment, we were all hyped. We were like, yes, that was an amazing Molotov because it stopped the other team from being able to just fully flush out the players that were not from him. But before we send it over to the next match, let's send it over to Kalaris and Aptera.
That's right, down on the stage here, of course, with Neptura, goddess of the sea, here as we have had 4 games down, 4 games to go. We're going to talk about some of the teams as well, Nep, as we had Furia, looking fantastic so far. Let's just ignore game 1 for a second. But other than that, looks really, really good throughout the day.
It has. I'm really, really excited to see what Fury is actually going to be doing moving forward into the next couple of games, because they are looking just so much better. Their synergy is on point. You can tell the communication is much better. You know, Ayala and Silence, again, in that Miramar, got to shout out them. They were looking very, very good. You know, just being able to play together and work around each other in a way that we were not seeing yesterday. So yeah, I am really excited with them. They're being very decisive as well, using zone, using other teams. So I do like that a lot for them.
Listening to Ayala just before in that interview, right, very clearly that they're able to shrug off any inconsistencies, shrug off any kind of challenges that do come their way, have a little conversation about it, and then be able to get right back on the horse again to be able to put themselves in a great spot. So I think I've particularly been impressed by the fact that Furia, when they basically fourth-parted that fight on the Miramar, just to clear out that west side was so pivotal to be getting that win.
Oh, it was, and it was such great knowledge of what the teams had to do, right? Not just worrying about their game, but also worrying about what the other teams, what their options were in that zone, right? You know, they were making sure that S2G couldn't come around to the south side. They were making sure Hora didn't push them either, that they were forced into each other. So really just narrowing everybody else's team, everybody else's options, and that is what I love in a team, is that team control, not worrying so much about themselves, but how do we make everybody else work for us?
Let's talk about one of the big names from the group stage, of course, 4 Thrives, that I know a lot of people are looking at and having big expectations of, and rightly so considering what we saw from them in the group stage.
Yeah, I really am hopeful for them because, yeah, again, similar to Furia, right? 4 Thrives had a rocky start to the finals, but what we're seeing from them, particularly in that last Erangel, is they're starting to do their splits over onto that west side. They're starting to split up, they're starting to spread out, they're starting to take up more space, have a little bit more presence, and to me, that tells me that they're feeling very confident now. They're starting to get that confidence back. For me, I want to see just a little bit more of snappy action coming in. They need to make those rotations a little bit quicker. They need to make those plays a little bit quicker. Those decision making, the timing has to be snappier for me, but otherwise it's just looking really much better.
There's been some good moments, but there is also the fact that this lobby has now leveled up even further. They were able to thrive in the group of death, no doubt about it, but it really has been quite the test here so far for them, especially when they find themselves in some of those split positions where, unfortunately, I kind of, again, like the Rondo situation, I think it's just a little too early to be there, and then eventually they get caved in on. Finally, let's talk about Flash.
Yes.
A team that had like big expectations as well coming in to this tournament as a whole. Not quite got their footing underneath them, though. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. I think, I'm not sure what's happened, right? Because we did see them have, they never had a huge presence, I feel like, even in the group stage, right? They were never this massive frag team, but they always had this quiet dominance. They were always able to be in those end stages. They were always able to take home a few eliminations, even if it wasn't a podium win. And today and yesterday, there's not even that. There's nothing. They're playing very compact. They're playing very much by themselves. They're not really looking to other players. If players look at them, they're like, no, please don't do that. You know, it's just like, it's odd, and with just nothing in them.
Is it because Max picked them to win?
Possibly. It is possible.
Yeah, possibly. Who just laughed in my ear? What was that? Was that our producer?
I think it was.
Even the producer knows about the Max Man curse. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Infamous.
I think in the group stage they had some good splits and stuff like that, but yeah, we've got to get a little bit more here in the finals. All right, it's time to get into our next game here. Game number 5 of the day here for Pmwc Day 2 Finals.
Thank you very much, Kalaris and Neptura down on the stage, leading us into the, well, not the final, Erangel, get ahead of myself, goodness me. We're on to match number 9, we're on our middle billing of Erangel today, and we have one more match of it after this as well, as we are near enough crossing the halfway mark of our day after this one as well. Of course, this will be the 4th match that we played on our big bumper bonus day of 8 matches.
Let's get into it. This Erangel is going to be a big one right here. We've already played 2 matches of Miramar. We had a Rondo, and now we are getting into our 2nd match of Erangel here. And it's going to be interesting to see just which team is going to come out on top, because we're starting to see a little bit of differences here, right? We're starting to see some of the squads at the bottom show up. It's good to see Ida make some noise. And honestly, if they were going to start making a run, now's the time. So it's good to see that movement happen. There's still plenty of games. We've seen plenty of times teams, boom, right, get back-to-back chicken dinners. And let's see if now is going to be that opportune time for Ida, now that they're no longer hot dropping Enigma Galaxy.
Maybe they're feeling themselves after that one.
Yeah.
They're just going to go back.
Oh, that worked.
Yeah. Or like, hang on a minute. We're quite good at this. We got late into that game. You know, let's go back on hot drop them because we'll win now, right? Right? Don't think that's going to work out. Hopefully they stay away, but that might be good news for everybody who's facing Enigma Galaxy. We saw their 2-2 split out from Pachinki. Not really work out too well from them in that last game. The circle shifts were very, very dramatic. I think it's safe to say for the majority of the zones right up until the final one, where it started to get a little bit more sensible by that time. So many had already fallen victim to the circle on those shifts, on those rotates. It was pretty difficult to even get to that stage. Not many teams did. Plane path now sending down the east side of the mainland, going between Stalber and Severny and heading over to Novo. So potentially difficult to get out towards Gatka. And you know, this is the sort of situation where I feel like Ida might just go back to Pachinki.
Oh, that would be a sight to see. That is for sure. But the plane's in the air, the island's down below. Aaron Gale's officially open for business. And oh man, if we see them go back to
because they can't get to Gatka.
I know they can't, but they gotta adapt. You gotta be able to make those changes. They're able to push themselves outside of last place. 25 points on the board. If they get a good performance here, they absolutely can make a run for it. But let's see what happens. You got Vitality already out, heading towards Stalber. You got Aura going up towards...
Oh, Crisis averted.
Yes,
they're going east.
They're going east. Good play. Ida making some adjustments.
Oh, hang on a minute. One of them's going... Dark is going east. And, okay, they're doing it. Okay, they're going for the Milton Peninsula, it seems. Going for a little bit of a split drop, sending Darken out, grabbing a vehicle to get on in and involved.
Little Milton power action.
Just because it's not Ida going to Pachinki doesn't mean anyone else can't go there, but I don't think anyone else has. So I was keeping track of that. Nasty circle for this sort of a plane path as well. Does a lot of work to push these teams close together. Sure, it has some of the military base in. It's just very, very unlikely. I would give it about maybe 10% likelihood that you're going over to that military base. Which isn't, it's non-zero.
It's not zero.
It's non-zero, but yeah, I feel like teams are going to really start to pack in around Quarry in about 5 minutes.
That's what I would do. Honestly, I'd probably make that timing a little bit shorter, especially if you're a team like Aurora, loot up military super fast, get moving across that bridge and secure those locations really early on, because with so much zone in the water, this is basically, this is essentially like a circle 3 at this point. There's not very many great spots available. You're going to have to get moving here pretty quickly. And you can also get moving inside the game and get yourself that Ninetales Fury Awe, guys. Go ahead and get in there quick. The Uzumaki Naruto event, by far one of the best collabs PUBG Mobile has ever done. Still around. Don't miss out.
It's looking fresh. If you missed the show match earlier, make sure that once this stream is done, go back and check it out.
Yeah.
It was mighty fun, and of course we had to let Alpha 7 win something, even though they didn't make it to the finals. Sucks for them. They were able to take that title there. The Hokages over on their own.
The Hokages.
In their own right. The little intro video as well. Revel looked super cool with that shadow clone.
Dude, that was the sickest
I really like that.
intro I've ever seen.
That was hot. That was hot.
Put that on the highlight reel.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Get it done. Enigma Galaxy going to be chasing down the truck, getting those supplies. Although, look like they're going to be doing so with very minimal weaponry there. Haven't been able to quite disable it before it leaves the city. Where's the weaponry? Come on. Shooting it as it leaves. They're dropping 1 or 2 more crates out. Finally, it's on fire. So a little bit slow to get this one dealt with. But finally, they find some weaponry they can use to pepper the back of the doors there. And they draw it too close. So they'll be able to leverage that. Zones still looking very dramatic on the southwest side. Nobody quite on the road, but 4 Thrives went to Primorsk very, very early. Dukes, which means that they will have the pick of the litter when it comes to taking a position into this next zone.
I like
the question for me is where do you go at this point when you know that everybody's going to be flooding out this way? For me, I feel like potentially some of the compounds to the east mouth of Quarry could be quite good.
Okay.
Transitions away from there can be difficult as well. And the reason I'm going for that is because I feel like I would want something that's at least on the south side, just in case it goes to military.
Yeah, I would take the hill above Ferry Pier. I think that's the strongest spot.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're right. Yeah, that zone could, for some reason, it's been crazy today, right? It could yoink all the way back to Millie, and you have a decent spot to be able to get there pretty quickly. And then plus, if the zone does go in almost any other direction, you have that sight line of that field that's right above you. So you can get a lot of work done from that position. I wonder which team is going to decide to take it early. Fourth Thrives heading into Primorsk so quickly, though, I think is an excellent decision, because if for some reason that zone does go to Millie, with Primorsk secured, they should be able to at least find some boats and make a crazy rotation on in. So it's not a bad idea.
Pmwc Galaxy getting out nice and quickly. Northern Red Bulls as well, moving in a little bit further south of this, and they will start to line the hills just north of Ferry Pier. Looks like they are the first two teams to really make that break for it outside of their looting phase. I'm expecting a response from Fourth Thrives fairly soon, but so far hasn't really come on through. Ralph able to get a lot more scouting done than maybe he would have expected to. But they managed to sequester themselves nice and deep into towards this zone, which is, I think, going to play very well for them, taking the position just northwest of Ferry Pier.
For sure. I mean, this is still a very close game. Second place on down, one good game. We can definitely see a team even like all the way down to 12th place jump up really quickly. E-Arena have started to create a little bit of a point differential, though, in between first and second. Actually, I wouldn't even say it's a little, it's a pretty big one here. It's 18 points between first and second. So E-Arena are going to continue to want to press that on there. At a certain point, though, John, especially if we see E-Arena like pop off in this game, I think the lobby is going to have to start taking notice of it, right? If you want to be able to slow them down from setting that point threshold so high, I think if you realize it's E-Arena by getting at least one elimination on them, you may want to put a little extra urgency on trying to take them out.
Maybe, but then again, if you do that, you could be sacrificing your own point scoring potential. And like if E-Arena are that far ahead already to be into the situation where it might be an idea to do that, I feel like you're already running into the situation where you're just trying to get up as many ladder points as you can, right? You're trying to just step up, get from 6th to 4th, something like that, go for those jumps. I feel like that's the sort of stuff you're looking to do. Maybe if you're at the bottom of the tables, you could, but even then, laddering up is still very valuable. So I feel like, unless it's like first place is on 150, second place is on 120, third place is on like 90, even lower, that maybe then the second place team could try and hot drop and go for something like that if you have that sort of advantage with not too many more games left to play. But outside of that very specific scenario, I feel like targeting E-Arena, I mean, given the form that they're on, probably just generally a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna, I think hot dropping in general of them is just terrible, no matter what the situation is. I just think that if you just somehow could see them, like for example, in the feed, you hear the shots.
Sure.
Maybe you do a little bit extra to try and take them out as Godlike starting to make some noise. There's S-Power with the run over. No fear getting taken out, but Sleepy, we thought he was gonna get the thirst, but Godlike was right there to support his teammate. And a huge save there right on time.
E-Arena are looking to come in for the third party from the west side here. They've already got a scout close by, and they've seen the elite Elam feed lighting up as well. Manya looking to suppress with an ace. Good bounce. Finds Sky on the flush. Will E-Arena be here on time? And Tiamba are going to join in from the north side as well. They could have an impact as they roll on up towards this engagement. A lot of players down. And there go Horror. Taken out. Knocked for 6, Godlike able to send them to the bleachers.
Oh, but here comes Tiamba looking to make things difficult for the side of Godlike. Admino is stuck with QZZ right there. Godlike get that fight done pretty quickly, but they're gonna have to make a sacrifice. Oh, the tire busted out from Manya and taken out as well. So man, Godlike just not able to catch a break here.
Tiamba able to rock in with a good third party there. Vitality a little bit late to get involved. E-Arena wanted to maybe think about it, but they were too spread out on the western side, and so couldn't get involved. But Tiamba were there nice and promptly. The circle, in the meantime, shifted back over towards the bridge. Very Pier is a hotbed right now. 4 Thrives, maybe bearing the brunt.
That's just saw Coops in the elimination feed there.
That's unhealthy. That's not a good engine noise.
Here we go. Yeah, that does sound like that head gasket's in trouble here as Huzaifa is pushing up on closer to Furia. Oh, hops in the vehicle, hops back in. And now able to at least get a secure position. Ayala holding it down against 4 Thrives. It's a party at the beach. Very Pier is jam-packed.
Get your sunglasses out. Get your tanning oil on. It's going to get toasty very, very quickly. This team's
예, 어찌 되어라 너하네.
It's feeling pretty disturbed right now because everybody wants those.
Aura Gamingနဲ့ ID တင်ရပြရတယောက်တော့ထားတွေ့ရပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာကလစကီကျွတ်စင်ကဲဒီမှာ S နဲ့ OG တို့ကပတ်တဲ့ဖြစ်နေရကောနော်နေမိုးရွာနေပါလိမ့်ခင်ဗျာ
Are they going to press this? Looks like they are. Hyunbin up close and personal. It's Youngshim Red Force versus OG, and OG are getting picked apart here. Aru's got to find a way to buy himself some time.
အဲ့ပြရတယောက်တော့နော်ထားပါတယ်ကဲဒီ OG ဘက် OG တင်ပါတော့ပြရ2ယောက်နော်ထားပါခင်ဗျာ S7 ဆုံးသက်နိုင်မလားဒါမှမဟုတ် OG ပဲအဆုံးသတ်သွားမလားဆိုတာကျွန်တော်တို့တူကြည့်လိုက်အောင်ခင်ဗျ နောက်ကနေပြီးတော့ကိုတင်းနေလာပြီးတော့ပြတယ်လာကျွမ်းအောင်ဖင်လာနိုင်တာပဲဖင်လာနိုင်တယ်လေကဲအခုချိန်မှာတော့ eliminated အနေနဲ့ horror တင်းပဲဒီအောင်မေခင်ဗျာဒီဘက်မှာတော့ ID တင်းရတော့ဒီဘက်ကိုဒီတောင်ဘက်ချင်းမှာ scout ထားပါတယ်ကဲကျင်းပါတော့အနေနဲ့တော့စုံစက်ကယ်ရထားပါခင်ဗျာဒါပေမဲ့စုံစက်ကယ်မှာတော့တင်းနဲ့တော်တော်များများတွေ့ရပါတယ်ကတတော်ဟီ
Side of the circle, you got one of the players from S2G. That's Kamikaze. He's going to be trying to get some angles here to see if he can find at least a next position for his team. But very Pier.
40နဲ့တယောက်အနေနဲ့တယောက်ထပ်ပြီးတော့ပါသွားပါပြီ
There's a complete broadside there. No way hiding from that one. In the meantime,
ဘာလို့ပါပြီဘောနော်40တယောက်တော့ထားတွေ့ရပါတယ်ဒီဘက်မှာအနေနဲ့လာပြီးတော့နှော့နေတဲ့တကောင်အပါပြီးတော့အပါခေါ်တော့လိုက်ပါလိမ့်မယ်
in the nostrils, and Emre does get flushed away. Nongshim Red Force hold their position on the east side of that ridge line that sits.
ဘယ်မှာ S2G တင်းနေတော့
They're playing on those bunkers as well. A really nice defensive
ဒီတောင်ဘက်ချမ်းမှာလာပြီးတော့ scout ထားပါတယ်အရှိမှာတော့ဒီဝလာ PGR တင်းနဲ့ပြည်များဆိုင်မလားတော့မသိဘူးမြတ်ကြည့်ရတော့ပြည်ဆိုင်ဖို့ရှိနေရခင်ဗျာ Remember, BGR အနေနဲ့တော့ပြည်ရှောင်ဖို့စဉ်းစားတာပါလေ
Kamikaze just keeping an eye on the side of Vitality for now. This is still super early here, folks. This is only stage 3, but we've just seen
ကောင်းတဲ့အချက်ကြီးဒီတောင်ဘက်ချမ်းမှာတော့အနေရတော့ယူထားပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာ
damage inflicted, and with Aura going down as well. We're down to 15 teams. A lot.
ကဲရောရာဘအနေနဲ့ကတော့ဒီဘက်တရားမှာလာပြီးစောင့်ကြည့်နေပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာ
For plenty of our players. Godlike and Orangutan, though, are both in central positions as their duos, which is kind of their saving grace in terms of survivability. They'll try and keep things going. Irina on the west side, holding around that quarry. They've left Schweppes actually onto the Primorsk Hill on the northeast side of it. to be that off angle for them. But they're kind of keeping out of it for now. They're kind of chilling on the west side. So for E-Arena, we're still waiting to see what they've got for the rest of this game. Because their path forwards may lead them to clash with Vitality or with Godlike.
You can see Schweppes, though, from E-Arena. He's all the way down in Ferry
ဒီ
Pier.
မှာဟိုလာပေးရတယောက်အနေနဲ့
Getting some intel for the rest of the squad. Gotta be careful not to get
ဟို
too
နေ
close,
တဲ့ကော
though, to the side of
စီးရ
Enigma
စီးရပါလေ
Galaxy. Now you see Aurora Gaming. Let's see where this next zone's gonna go, though. That's when the fight's really gonna get started here. Zol is gonna eat a little bit of blue damage. He's keeping an eye on Flash. Uh-oh, yeah, he's trying to play this quietly, hoping that he comes in this direction, but instead goes in the opposite. Next circle does pop on over, and it is heavily to the east side.
I mean, this is good for Nongshim Red Force, right? On their position. We were talking about that before. The fights on the east side will need to conclude. Tiamba sending in a might challenge on Orangutan's
ပြည့်
position, but it's clear
ဟိုရာအနေနဲ့ team flat နဲ့ပြတယ်တော့ဆိုင်ကြရခင်ဗျာနောက်မှာတော့ NS အနေနဲ့ team flat ကိုလာပြီးဖျင်းနိုင်ပါခင်ဗျာ
now looking to overwhelm, but they've lost a player on the roll-up. Orangutan try to hold it down, but will not be able to face the might of Tiamba, who are fielding shallow now on their roster, leaving Milu out. And he is not needing to get him back up.
Down to a duo. Eagle trying to get that first aid off. He's going to be able to get that for sure. On over to
Galaxy, name a Galaxy.
They're going to have to push into this next zone as well. Circle is closing. This is stage 4. The blue zone really starts to put in its damage here. Let's see what Enigma Galaxy decides to do. It looks like they're going to be most likely prioritizing the shoreline. That's why they're applying so much pressure to the
အော်ဒီအနေနဲ့တယောက်ပြတယောက်
ends up catching
တယောက်တယောက်ပြတော့ပါလိမ့်ခင်ဗျာအခုတော့နှစ်ယောက်ပဲကျန်တော့ပါလိမ့်ခင်ဗျာ
very pure position. We've seen them do this before. S2G were able to bad beat them in that spot using those hovercrafts in a game not too long ago. So let's see if Al-Ula can turn things around.
Try and hold that west side. I mean, for Fourth Thrives, a little bit of a lost opportunity there. Remember how early they were in Primorsk, Dukes, and they didn't manage to transition fast enough. Both Enigma Galaxy and Nongshim Red Force both got ahead of them in terms of getting to the positions in that area. It's a little bit unfortunate. I'm not super happy about it. And now they find themselves in the middle of a fight that may not go their way with 3 full force squads. Sorry, Ulf only have 3 players, so with 3 squads surrounding them. Luckily they are in the zone, so they aren't super under the impetus to move, but they may want to.
Yeah, now we're looking over at E-Arena, the top squad right now. So many points on the board.
PGR နဲ့
Looking to make that push it even further beyond.
ဒီတင်းတော့ပြတဲ့ဆိုင်နေတော့မှာပဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာ
Trying to find their spot in this next circle because the next zone's most likely going to push north, and if it
ကဲ
does,
ကဲဘယ်လိုချစ်ခင်ရမလဲ
S2G have a decent position in. Tianba and Nongshim Red Force are pretty locked down, but these teams on the south side of Ferry Pier honestly should already
ဒီဘက်မှာအေးတွေတော့ဒီဘက်စုံတူပဲဆုံးတော့ဆုံးပြထားတာတွေ့ရပါတယ်ဒီဘက်မှာကိုဘရီယာနေရာရှိရဆိုတာကြည့်နေလာပြီးတော့ဝန်တိုက်ရပါတော့
Now is the time that they need to transition into a pivotal point in this game. For the time being, for the longest time in this game, they've just been on this west side, waiting, playing that edge, assessing the situation. But now they need to start
နော်တော့ပဲဂျပန်နေနဲ့နော်တော့ခင်ဗျာတခါတည်းပေါ်ခါအပါပေါ်ခံရပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာ
for the moment. I don't think they've got an answer.
ဒီမှာမနာတော့3 versus 2ဖြစ်သွားပါလေ
Hiding somewhere else in the building there.
စားကဆုံးစားကအနေနဲ့ဒီချမ်းမအတင်းနေရာယူထားပါလိမ့်များ
huge news, and Godlike now knows exactly who they're fighting and the importance of them taking this out. Next zone does go on over. Huge zone here for Tianba and Nongshim Red Force. That Ferry Pier heal
အခု ချမ်းမအနေနဲ့စုံတော့အချိန်ကြီးကောင်းတယ်လို့ပြောရမယ်သူတို့အနေနဲ့ဒီအဲ့ကွန်ဘောင်းတစ်ဖက်ပြီးတော့ defend နိုင်မလားဆိုတော့တူကြည့်အောင်ခင်ဗျာ
The transition over to the hills can be very, very difficult, especially with 2 teams lining you up side to side. Vitality going to have to make a break for it now as they have to roll out from the north edge.
ဒီကနေတော့Furia ကိုတကားတဲ့ဘာတော့ခေါ်ထားပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာ
teams that were playing on that edge position. Yeah, Team Vitality are just kind of waiting to hopefully have these teams in the middle start fighting so they can, get a free rotation onto this next circle without too many eyes looking at them. But it's going to be a tough rotation. Yeah, Razy is going to be driving right by.
PGR ဘာလို့ဆုံးစမှာစောင့်နေ
It is no bueno out in that open area. Enigma Galaxy finding the back tail of Al-Ula and able to drag that one back. Claws does fall as the arena is still trying to dislodge Godlike. There's Power with the shotgun, tries to find one, steps into a nade.
ကောင်း1နဲ့လို့တော့ဟာ
Now it's all up to Salme. Has got a nade cooking. Still with the pin pull, drops it down, nearly finds it as Schweppes tries to move up to support Turney K and get that res. S-Power falls and Salme has Mormon now to handle. Gets the first lick in with that shotgun and Mormon has to back up.
S-Power had that. It was such a fortunate nade there. Samway has the right-hand priority. That's what he needs. Catches it on the Mormon and gets the knock, but great teamwork there from Schweppes to get the nice 1v2.
Enigma Galaxy could potentially roll out, trying
ဒီမှာချမ်းဝမ်းနဲ့ PGR တော့အပြည့်ဆိုင်နေပြီ
crashing up on towards Tianba's position, playing beneath Nongshim Red Force out to the east.
PGR နဲ့နေနဲ့မရတော့ဘူး3 versus 4 နော်ရိုက်
They could turn their attention that way. Steps onto a landmine, blasts his leg sideways, and down goes another Vitality player.
ကောင်းလိုက်တဲ့ချမ်းပါကွာ
Descend as well, sending a forward position. And I don't think they're going to last much longer. Ida trying to join the party, and Tiamba are now suffering. Darkin
အနောက်မှာတော့ DNA လာပြီးတော့ပြတဲ့လိုက်ချမ်း
huge swipes at this hold, and Tiamba may not have enough to hold everything off, but they will find the final blow towards Ida.
It's an open field battle here as teams are starting to crowd on in. And this is looking like an absolute battlefield. Tons of
DNA တော့ပျောက်တော့ပျောက်သွားပြီ
goes Vitality. S2G joining the battle. 2 eliminations to their name so far. And with that fight, all that commotion happening, it allowed them to be able to get a more solidified position. Great timing from the side of S2G. E-Arena are like, hey, I don't care about the timing. We're just gonna push up and hit some crazy shots.
Yeah, တော့ကောင်းတယ်
Two teams crashing onto Tiamba's position was enough of a smoke screen for E-Arena to be able to move up nicely. Despite not having one of their players with them, they are now
ကဲကဲဒီအနေနဲ့ဆုံးတော့ဘာတော့ပါတော့နေမှာကလစင်းနေနဲ့ဆုံးလဲဝင်ရအောင်ပါ
great result so far. 10 teams remain, but they're on the outside of the circle, and Enigma Galaxy are going to
နောက်မှာနေမှာကစိနေမှာကလစအချိန်မှာ SUG ဒီရတော့ချားညနေ
and they find, well, actually it's S2G who find a shot onto Schweppes on the back line.
Stop that, said Enigma Galaxy, and honestly, the whole lobby needs to start really worrying about E-Arena here because the White Rabbits are starting to run away with this thing. Remember, $500,000 for first place, 250,000 for second. That's a big difference here, folks. Now we're going to see Enigma Galaxy. They got that knock. E-Arena are outside of the circle. Tianba will be gatekeeping, and this is kind of a perfect situation for the lobby. Nongshim Red Force, though, gets super blessed in the zone. They are dead center. It is really their game to take advantage of here.
And they're really hoping that E-Arena go down fairly soon, because then they can put a massive dent in the gap between these two squads. E-Arena, though, currently focused on Tianba and Enigma Galaxy. Enigma Galaxy find another knock, sending it over towards Schweppes, and I don't think this is going to be resible. Mormon and Turney K now having to keep it together. On top of the 5 elims they found already, and Lost might have an angle on it as well, suppressing that angle, but Mormon goes down, can't hold
pace.
No knocks are sent their way either. Mormon gets flushed away as Schweppes does get back up. Meanwhile, over in Ferry Pier, Aurora, Alula, and Ulf all coming into the fight. It is getting chaotic down there. It's getting messy as well. Turney K, the last stand for E-Arena, and then Enigma Galaxy have to push into Tianba. And nobody's happy in Ferry Pier either. It has been non-stop action for the last 7 minutes.
Fight after fight after fight. These zones making things so difficult. And yes, Enigma Galaxy are now on the push. They want to be able to finish E-Arena out completely. They don't want them getting any points. And I believe, yes, with that nade, that's gonna do it. E-Arena finally taken out. But they still put points on the boards here, John. So it's like no matter what the situation, they are constantly moving that needle further.
ကျန်ပါတော့အနေနဲ့ဒီ 4K နဲ့လုံးရောက်တော့ survive ဖြစ်နေသေးတယ်
They were able to do a lot of damage to Furia, leaving them on one player alive. Flash are going to crunch in behind it. Potential to pick up points there. Aurora are going to have to sidelines of Nongshim Red Force. There is a big Elim potential game here if they can close it down, because they are in the driver's seat here and they need to keep control.
All these teams need it. They all need this chicken dinner and all the eliminations.
Nice.
And that's beauty of God. Nongshim Red Force. Man, XZY with 5 eliminations all by himself. Gonna have to make a play here. He's got the shotgun, but the suppressive fire from too many angles, making things difficult. Nongshim Red Force are still here though, but here's Bose from Team Flash. This nade could be big. Can he thread the needle through the window?
No.
Oh, so close.
Not quite on the first. Has another opportunity. S2G as well.
Second
Launches
chance.
another one. Don't think that went. Oh, no way. I didn't think that one went through, but it did. And down goes this Nongshim push. They flexed out from their position, Jukes. It felt like maybe it was the right time to do it, but they underestimated the chaos on the eastern side, and they've let slip the strongest spot in the circle, and they will leave it all up to So Easy. A real big opportunity for them to put a massive jump up on the tables. They can still do very well from this location.
That's the idea of a
They
channel.
have really had the juice squeezed out of them.
You're so right. I mean, they put some good, solid points on the board, but it could have been a whole lot more, that's for sure. Let's see who can take advantage of these missteps. Enigma Galaxy are still here. 4 eliminations. Aurora with 5. Big win here could put them all the way up to second place very, very easily. Tianba right there close as well. Team Flash, yeah, with that last player, Bose, just trying to soak up anything for his team at this point. Next circle does go, and up, and it is going to be down to that southwestern side. Enigma Galaxy barely have a position.
ကျွန်မရင်းတဲ့အနေနဲ့မွေကတ်ဟန်ရမယ်
This time to hit the deck and hit some shots. Satan getting peppered from both sides. He goes down.
He was waiting to take a shot over towards Tiamba as well, but S2G take their turn at Tiamba, but it's not going to go well for anyone, really. Enigma Galaxy trying to step up, S2G trying to move in, but nobody can find an opening, thanks to the suppression from Aurora. Solke goes down, and Tiamba are holding their nerve, but only one player now left standing. QZZ against Kamikaze, over the bonnet, tries to find the shots. 3 rounds now left in the back chain before the S12K gets the reload, but it's not enough. Kamikaze keeps S2G in there, and Solke may get back to his feet. They don't have a lot of time though.
ကျွန်မပျောက်လာပြီ
This area is looking like a dang blender. Shots happening all around in every single direction. You gotta find a way out though, as Doc now on the push, looking to shut things down, getting up close and personal, but it's Coops. Coops on fire, literally now, as those nades, Molotovs, too strong.
Oh no.
Coops by himself could not hang on.
And now Aurora ramp up the heat, turning up the thermostat on the lobby. But in the meantime, S2G, they may just get themselves back up to 4 players alive here, Jukes, which is kind of crazy, given the chaos that just unfolded at their feet. Remember, Tiamba were there. They were taken down just about with the assist coming in. And Nongshim Red Force still alive, by the way, with their solo player up and into 3rd place guaranteed. It's a little bit less efficacious than they might like to be, given what the position that they held, but
Let's go.
Huge game.
တွေးကြည့်ပါလားရောတယောက်တည်း
He can disrupt this pretty big time. But you can see S2G, they get the full reset, and we get to see them bust out the welding gun as well. So they're going to have their vehicle all set up. As far as when it comes to zone control, though, it's all Aurora. They had this entire zone locked down. But the thing was, they had this advantage before against a team of Nongshim Red Force, and they lost that game. This is their chance to make up for it and secure this chicken dinner.
S2G on the ferry, but lost, gets spotted. That is Nongshim Red Force's solo, striking out wide. The point gets taken away from him, but diminishes the power of S2G, maybe gives him a little route in, but already Aurora have flexed 2 players out. I think they're going to be able to deal with this. Ooh, unless a nade lands on Top's head. Launches it forwards as he spotted it. Ooh, nearly, but not quite, not quite. Has to march in, making the mad dash, and Top actually not quite connecting. Has another nade to pull. Top trying to trade it off, and Aurora can really sequester themselves into this angle. Doesn't spot the nade, goes boom right next to his ear, but doesn't quite burst the drum.
That was a prediction nade, though. He knew that he was going to run up, so he threw it ahead of him and got some really good damage on the So Easy. But he is able to get away for now. Here he goes, though. Here comes some more util from the side of Aurora.
They've lost him.
They're spending a lot of time focusing on this one player of Nongshim Red Force who is refusing to go down.
Drops a nade right in front of them. Top steps up, nearly goes down again. They're having real trouble here, and S2G not really having an impact so far. The zone's starting to close all the way, and so easy just about holding on. But dear life, as Reaper steps into the fight, the DBS there in hand, not quite enough, and down they go. Now S2G up on the chopping block, looking to try and do something, but that nade is big, and the next one is bigger. Takes a huge chunk out of S2G, and Sulke trying to stay alive desperately, but he crawls onto the nade, and it blasts his belly open. Aurora swing out from Ferry Pier and find a chicken dinner.
And it's about time. Aurora clutching it up. They wanted that chicken dinner earlier, weren't able to get it, but in this one, they get that secure. So Aurora showing some serious consistency when it comes to Erangel here in day number 2. We still got one more left to go, and they are looking strong.
Absolutely, great stuff. It's exactly what you want to see. It's been said of Aurora before, right, that they're a team that needs to ramp up in pace. They do need a little bit of time to get into gear, and maybe that's what we're seeing here, right? Maybe they are going to be able to find that ramp up over the next, well, the rest of the matches today and in the games tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's going to be right on time, too, because E-Arena have been extremely consistent today. Even when they went out now, they still put up 5 points on the board. So they're the biggest threat in this lobby here. Because remember, folks, at the end of these next 3 matches, that smash point threshold is going to be set tomorrow. Once those 10 points are crossed, the next chicken dinner, that is it. We will crown some champions. So E-Arena's job today is to just set that threshold as high as possible, and they're doing a dang good job of it.
They are, but even in that match, like a lot of the teams towards the top side of those tables were able to put up some decent games.
That's
right?
true.
You had Ulf, who was staying in fairly late, S2G fairly deep into that one, Nongshim Red Force. Maybe could have got a little bit deeper if they hadn't gone for that push-up, but still getting into 3rd place into that match was really, really great for them. A lot of teams putting up some big numbers, and sure, they put up 5, and I do praise teams for being able to do that sort of thing, but everybody is on the hunt. Everybody's hounding them down. So for E-Arena, it might be okay, but you can't have a tortoise and a hare situation. You need to keep the pace up. You cannot let sleeping dogs lie, because they will find you and they will take you out of that top spot. It's all to play for. One more Erangel today. As before we move on to our final set of Miramars, don't go anywhere.
Introduce our team.
Obviously, I'm here to support Godlike Esports. This is one region that was, never considered to be very aggressive in general, but with Godlike Esports, the thinking has changed, and these guys have shown the character. Watching them perform on the biggest stage, I think it's a moment of pride and honor for us.
The team is like a very celebrated team in India. Like, it has a huge fan base, amazing lineups, amazing achievements.
Godlike got that nice nade off the top side from Adamino. It'll be a great start for Godlike. Jukes get some early energy into today's games. Oh boy! Wow!
doing those tight peaks. He's been throwing heat-seeking missiles all game long and opening the fight for his team. A full 4v4. S2G tried to catch a couple of their players off guard.
You can't stop S-Power, and you cannot silence Godlike in this moment. Adamino for the closing play as Godlike take this chicken dinner with ease!
The most memorable event has to be the map of Rondo where Godlike came up with 30 points. As everyone, used to call our region as not so aggressive or passive and, a lot of things like that. But again, Godlike Esports proved with their firepower and with their composure that we do have that firepower. We can also go for, big games.
For us, it was like a very unexpected turns of event that we qualified for grand finals. Like, I don't think anyone in India or anyone in our team must have imagined us playing our first international tournament and straight up qualifying for grand finals. So when that moment happened, we all went crazy. Like all of us, the Godlike family, everyone in India, we were all celebrating, and honestly, I will never forget that.
The fans over here, the love for the game, it has been amazing, and we are having a great time over here till now. Yeah, I always had this dream to go and visit Eiffel Tower, and it was a dream come true moment for me.
Aurora getting a chicken dinner, but before we break down that match, we wanted to get a club championship update, and I'm joined by none other than Glitter Explosion. Some of you guys know her as Senorita Glitter. Tell us what's going on with the club championship.
All right, we're just going to do a quick update here because we've got some seriously cool stuff going on in chess. Obviously, grand finals here today. Third, fourth decider match also happened. That was between two Falcons players for third and fourth place, so it didn't matter who won. They were getting those third place points regardless, but now the finals are going on between Magnus Carlsen and Dennis Lazovic, which means AGAL have guaranteed themselves second place bare minimum. Liquid could get the win if Magnus is able to do it, but either way, that keeps AGL at the top of our leaderboard by 500 points. Now, it looks big right now, but over at the STC Arena, Falcons are still in the discussion there. In quarterfinals, they will be facing off against Twisted Minds later on today, and if they're able to win, that's going to be another chunk of points in the favor of Falcons, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
It will be interesting, especially because Aurora just got a win here. They want to be in the top A because they want to get those points as well. Before I let you go, any team that has surprised you today?
I'm not going to lie, I'm loving the bounce back right now out of Godlike. They put some serious elims up on the board, so shout out to Godlike.
Hey, right on. Thanks. Actually, spot on. Thanks, Glitter. You can go back and just keep on looking for updates, okay? I want to see what else is going on with the other club championships, and I want to see what else is going on here at Pmwc at EWC 26 because some of these squads, especially Aurora Max, getting that chicken dinner. But before we even do that, let's talk about the PMWC Lucky Spin. Available now. You can check out the Electron Energy set, the Proton Power set, and also that Alien Fusion Grow set, which I want. And I'm still trying to get. And I'm going to continue to try to get. So make sure you guys check that out. This was co-created with PvP creator Nana. Make sure you log into Pubg Mobile. Get that lucky spin before it goes away to get your PMWC swag. But now, Aurora, yes, that's right. Look at this man. This man is absolutely ready. He's been cheering for the longest time. But Max, we got a chance to see them play that so well, too. And just pretty much like a boa constrictor, just squishing everybody in.
Oh, yeah, like a snake. Well, they weren't really snaking in, actually. They were just dominating and eliminating everyone. But finally, no throw from Aurora. They made it. They saw it through until the very end. And we actually see Zola. I said he was very impressive. I wanted to see more from Reefus and Doc. We finally got it. Reefus, 4 eliminations, Doc 3. In particular, what's very important is that before going onto that ridgeline north of that road signature, eliminate every single team down there, get rid of all the stragglers. You had Ulf, you had Al-Ula, you had Fourth Rise, and you also had Nongshim Rifles at one point. Get rid of all of those players before playing that ridge. That was so well executed by the boys.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that, and also learning from the Rondo, right, where they just played it way too slowly. Yes, they had more terrain to work with in this game, but you could see the momentum. They just went from 0 to 100. Once they had cleared everybody, gotten all of those eliminations, they moved in and tried to corral S2G. S2G let that happen just a little bit. I was much preferred a better fight from them for sure, but for Aurora, that was much better, much more what we're used to seeing from them. This is a herding team. They control teams. Teams don't control them, and right now, this was them controlling teams.
I literally wrote down on my notes that, oh, S2G, they looked really good at that sort of northern side. This should be a nice win for them. They got the hovercraft, you know. But no, I have to agree, Aurora played that incredibly well, and they were able to take that time to make that spacing. But also, did you know noticed like Nongshim so easy causing a little bit of chaos as the solo player between these two full teams. I mean, that was kind of crazy to see as well. I was looking at S2G, obviously, to have that, you know, they were denying the flank from Flash coming around to them. They had a nice 2-2 split on that north side. Soul Gang with the hovercraft, we're going to bring that up again, but yeah, a little bit rough for them. So the way that Aurora were able to calculate that, with a little bit of annoyance from Nongshim, so easy, well played.
Talking about Nongshim, they were able to put up some good points as well here in this match. 13 points as well with S2G, 13 points. Max, which one are you looking at? I see you ready to talk.
Because Nongshim Red for sure, they gave themselves 13 points. It's eliminations, 5 places. I feel like they threw that game. Genuinely, I think they could have at least better gotten the top 2 in that position, if not an actual chicken dinner. But then Furia, which is not Longwood, they're not even on the dip on top of Longwood. They're like this little shed on the little plateau below them. And again, opening knock, and I'm like, okay, Nongshim Red Force maintain the pressure, a Molotov or grenade. They fully crashed the shed, and then Flash are like, what the hell are you doing? We're just going to do a counter grenade Molotov and swipe the entirety of Nongshim Red Force. They just held their position. They would be where So Easy was falling. If you had a full team, bigger trolling. But I feel like, yeah, Nongshim Red Force, sometimes they get great games, and sometimes they do some of the biggest fumbles in a tournament. It hurts. It really does.
Hello?
I think it's a good example of something that happens at every level. I've seen it where you get this, you get tempted to actually full send into a position, but you gotta really think about why that team that you're fighting fell down so easily. Generally, it's because the position is bad for one reason or another. It's very constricted there. There's a little ridge around that shack. It's very, very nadeable. Lots of areas to bounce that utility off. So if you're gonna push something like that, if you're fighting against, hang on a second. If you're fighting against them, right, don't push that, because then you yourself get naded as well. It's very nadeable for a reason.
Yeah, and that match was a perfect example of what can happen whenever you end up just catching up even more to that first place. Arena ended up getting 5 points. You can see Aurora Gaming just jump up to that second place with 81 points. What was a 1 point and 18-point gap to that second place has just now closed up to 9 points.
I'm so happy to see it, because we saw throughout the entirety of today, right, they were a podium team at the very start, slipping, getting almost nothing done. They were in 8th position before this game. Now with that chicken dinner, rocketing right at the very top here, just below the arena with their 81 points. Literally, here team, single-digit points away from our current pack leader of E-Arena. The thing is, they're all flash in the pan, right? So we need to see more consistency, and especially not throwing games when you know you can get those wins.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. We have one more Erangel and then 2 Miramars as well. Aurora tend to do quite well on Miramar typically, so we'll see how that goes again. Just down to game by game what they're gonna do, but we're looking at the second page here. Flash and Hora 48 points each. They are looking tied right now, but there's quite a bit of a gap between them and 4th Drive, so even further down the leaderboard, we're starting to see those gaps emerge.
We're gonna have to start cutting them out, because that point gap is just too much. And keep in mind, going into tomorrow, that smash roll is gonna be a play, and it's gonna be plus 10 points or whatever first place ends up with.
Yeah, and it's strange because, like, I know me and Nepturo are having a look at Godlike, right, and they're making stuff calculated and well played, and then I even sort of said, damn, they're so strong as just a little duo. Why don't they just kind of, like, go in that little map and do their thing? But it's just unfortunate, you know, they're getting, like, 7 elims in that spot, but just not making it any further. I sort of touched about that on the shared studio on the couch. It was like they're getting themselves in these great, like, close-range fights, capitalizing on it, winning it, and then, like you were saying, moving back in and not, like, the other teams are sort of circulating because they're doing that too late in the game. But I do feel, listening before, Aurora just did it. They can just have this great game, and that will push them up a lot further because they're getting the elims. They'll be able to do it.
And they definitely need it, especially where they are currently. We've been praising them in regards to the performance that they have had today, but we need to see a lot more out of Godlike, because they are truly just so far away from the first place. And at the end of the day, you want to be in first place. That's what they're going to be hunting down. By the way, special shout out earlier on to Hot Jukes and John for casting those first 5 games. But now it's time for the main show. Yeah, it's okay. I still got you, baby. For Blank and Jackie Blank, you got me. Come on, man.
Oh, mate.
All right, that's one hell of a setup. Thank you, Seven. Appreciate some great points being raised there. Indeed. There's some good breakdown. Got all the fans, of course, enjoying themselves. Saw it over there. They had the I Love Max Man sign. We don't have one of those, unfortunately.
We've got love for snacks right now, which is cool. We've also got OG Godlike behind us, which is always good to see too. The support is unreal inside the arena at the moment, as per usual. It has been awesome all the way throughout the tournament, but we do have a lot of people with reserves. So we're going to get loud, we're going to get a little bit crazy with it, because I imagine, to finish off the day, it's been a long day, right? We might have some mad circles to finish things off.
Yeah, do you reckon?
I reckon.
Should we make sure there's still some good energy left in the crowd?
We could try, yeah.
Right then, Paris! A few games left to go today. Let's see how much energy we've got. Let's make some noise in the building! Alright, that's what I wanted. Proud of you, Paris. You've been killing it here at Pmwc, and we'll keep the commentary flowing as the games go on. We can lock in as we start to get towards the end of the day. It's been enticing, Blank. Some good quality Pubg Mobile coming out, but I'm excited to see if there's any more twists in the narrative.
That's what we're looking for. We're looking for some twists, some turns at the end of the day, some mysteries yet unsolved. We do get back in the thick of it. We'll be on to Angle one last time before we head towards our final two Miramars to close out this mega day of Pubg Mobile. Again, like we said, Paris has been fantastic. You guys have been fantastic. The fact that you've been with us this entire time, supporting the teams the entire time. We've heard the drums, we've heard the excitement. The drums better come back though. I'll be sad if the drums aren't in the crowd.
They're ramping,
They're ramping, getting ready to go. Doing a couple of paradiddles here and there. You're Ralph on screen, explain to his team that they're definitely not getting hot dropped over towards Pachinki. It's not happening again. Ida's had a good game now. Like, maybe we were the problem.
Yeah, maybe we don't do that anymore. Which honestly, I think it's a fair shout. I think, you know what, 4 different members of the talent team spoke to Ralph about that yesterday. We were kind of making sure we could get that one across as many ways as possible. It seems like the message has been sent out.
Yeah, it was like, it was coded through Ralph for Ida.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that? Ralph was very pleasant about it. He was like, I don't think they should be doing it. Yeah, they were. I mean, I think we got about 12 items off the back of it, which is kind of sick, honestly. It's a good amount of points. We do get our plane path down from the south side all the way to the north. You see there, Eren and Scarface currently topping the leaderboard in terms of damage, which is a surprising statistic for me. They've been very, very consistent throughout. I'm glad to see Eren there. Hasn't quite beaten out Scarface just yet, but I'm glad that Scarface has been the rock so far for Ulf. He has kept that team steady throughout. The suspension system for the Ulf vehicle, which will need to make a move down towards the south side of the map. It gives a good game here for Aurora, who is beating us for multiple years for a massive win at an international, and they might just be giving us it here at Pmwc 2026.
God, getting these sort of circles, man. Once again, right, you hit the nail on the head. It's happened. Not good. The military island in play. Like you said, this is the blessing. Perfect drop spot, perfect end game potentially for a team like Aurora, who do feel like they've kind of locked it in a bit. So we'll see. We'll stick with it. Potential for a lot of early fights. You got Flash. Already amongst it as well. We're going to get
Flash seems okay though. Getting back say though, we got Aura on screen. Eagle. Almost hit it as well. Accuracy with the arrows. Jiggle. Dropping some ammo across. Everyone's a little bit low right now. Level 1 vest, really difficult. Just dropping some of the Sleepy is Sky though is coming in from the other side of things, over towards the north side of Severny, so this is a long exit for both squads. I don't think any team wants to be here. Tiamba, as well as Aura, stuck in this awkward engagement. Eagle with a honey badger at distance on the sidelines. Arena also swinging by, but they should get gone.
Very much an early stalemate that no one really wants to overly commit to. With that first domino to fall, it's going to be a nightmare. You want to get out of this very cleanly as well. Losing one or at worst two players, even if you do take down the other squad and get a full 4 points from it, this is going to be a major detriment to your run with how few games we have left today.
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing though for this in particular is the play from the south side up towards the north, and because we had this big southern circle, is pretty much it's committed to something. This is not like anywhere else. It meant that a lot of teams dropped off early on the play path to get looted early. So you do have the likes of S2G, Aurora, Four Thrives, Ida, Alula, as well as Noxious Red Force already eating stuff off. This place is getting very busy very quickly. Tiamba moves up, Horror's already getting himself into a vehicle. Uzi in play, tries to get the damage across. There will be a shot from Shallow though. Really good stuff there with the QBZ. Some damage in. Jiggle. Line and wait. Could be a dangerous trap in play. QZZ trying to get around the side. Eagle will just run down Sleepy. They don't know. They do not know. He is hidden, blending in to the rust.
Man, how has he got away with this for so long? He's just there, down on the deck. No one knows about Giggle.
Come on.
Come on. Pistol, come on. The sidearm.
There's... Are you blind?
He's a master of camouflage. That's insane. Wow, they actually leave. They actually
That's
go.
wild. We're playing some kind of game where you go in as a small white man and you have to be painted against things. And he's done exactly that.
Unbelievable.
I can't believe he's become the chameleon in that situation. That's wild. But well played to him.
Yeah, mega mechanics there.
He's prone. That's a lovely prone. That is a beautiful prone on him.
Got away with that one. Liberties. Absolute liberties.
Pubg Mobile Chameleon. Right here, right now, at Pmwc. You want to get yourself some skins to allow you to blend in. Well, this is not the one for you, because the Uzumaki Naruto event is now on with the Naruto character set, as well as the Ninetales Fury Org. S-Power bringing a lot of fury to the lobby at the moment as well. Talking to Max earlier, he was saying that S-Power right now probably the only player at a massively global level. And I would agree with him. I think he is on the likes of, you know, your Mormons, your Errands, looking insane.
无经验了，真的是表了小鱼。
Work for the rest of his team. I think Godlike has really shown that they absolutely can take it to task with some of the best squads in the world. Which is cool to see. Satan here from Nigma Galaxy. Another team that's doing really well too. I genuinely think, and I said at the start of the day, is that I've not always been the biggest fan of Nigma Galaxy and some of the pushes, some of the rotates they make. I think they have a lot of potential in them. This tournament though has been, you know, it's been off the walls, just like this, because this is wild.
It's just ridiculous how close he came when he drove past him twice.
Twitching as well.
Yeah, I know. Not even fully stationary. Look at him. He's got a slight shifty look about him.
He's put the laser pointer down to the ground. He's like, oh.
Nightmare. They're going to see that.
Put that away.
Well, hey ho, that one worked out. Didn't expect it, but master of camouflage
He
there.
even try to give himself away. I mean, the laser pointer really. That sent me. That's good. Ah, that's a belly of laughs right there. A lot of teams now getting in position though. Furia looking to cross. Haven't had a really bad day today, honestly. I think genuinely Furia has been looking better and better as the tournament does go on. More shades of the past from them. PMMI, where they look very, very strong there. And they're bringing it back. I think that they just had to slow down their gameplay a little bit because their end games aren't nice. That's where they typically thrive. But now they're coming up against Alula, the Claws versus the Panthers here.
Rồi dừng vì nó không bay nó nằm bờ rồi bây giờ mà. Đi ra mà.
Question of which set of claws are sharper.
Are they both depicting Panthers though? Because that would be
maybe a Jaguar.
Maybe a Jaguar. Yeah, like that.
Keep you guessing. You never know. Battle of the Animal Kingdom. Oh, S-Power with a nice little lift there. That's a 5-pointer.
X5 on that one. A lot of airtime.
It's a great multiplier.
It was a great multiplier. I like that. Anyway, we get next circle.
Whoa.
You didn't hear. I don't know if you could hear that, but there was audible disappointment from the crowd. Everyone was oohing and ahhing at that one. Does head out far towards that west side. Really uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. Ida's already good spot, though. The rest of the team, I would probably say to try and regroup soon, though. Nongshim Red Force has played a similar position to this in the past on this exact spot that Tizzy is currently actually located on with XZY. So I think they'll just try and secure that going forward. They might even try and take the compound that Vitality won on during this map before as well. We'll see what they do. Can't be too greedy though, because again, like I said earlier, it's very busy in Sosnovka at the moment. A lot of teams here.
It's going to get pretty aggressive down there where things do kick off, especially with how this zone shifted, man. Cutting out a lot of that play space once again. So you're fighting around the bridge, you're fighting on the island. Like you touched on, even just a couple minutes into this game, with how close they were off the playing path, a lot of squads did already make their mass migration down and start to try and dig their heels in a little bit. You've got a few squads that are still outside in the mainland towards the blue, having a bit of a slower rotate. A lot of traffic as well on the bridge over to Sosnovka. Fury are there as we saw that establishing shot with Alula just ahead, guarding the entrance. It's then Vitality behind them and similarly Flash behind them as well.
Yeah, Fury's getting squeezed like a fruit right now. It's not looking good for them. They're getting pushed down by Vitality and Flash behind that as well. So this is a awkward approach. They would like to get across, but I don't think Alula's going to let them across so easily. Igor's is far up though, so he just needs an opener. And Alula looks to be leaving. I think that's the correct decision at this time, just because the circle did push so far over towards the western side. You don't want to get left behind. E-Arena still being here is somewhat of a question mark, but if they knew they could hold out a team over towards Box Compound, sure, why not? It is quite cruel towards Tiamba, but this is the name of the game. You pick up the points where you can, and right now, E-Arena's doing a good job of it.
And Turney K there. Up on the top side of the rock face, spamming down into Aking, and will leave him wounded off the back of that. QZZ already knocked, rest of the squad following in their footsteps. This is a brutal start for Tiamba, and one by one they fall. So E-Arena find them outside and dispatch them with ease there. Another 4 points on top. That's a 94-point total over the course of today's games.
It's a strange one, right? Because they both started up over towards Severny, Didora, as well as Tiamba. Tiamba swings wide over towards North George. Flash does take a knock there, and probably a flush too. This is over towards the fight on the bridge side, so we'll come back to Tiamba in just a second. Axel low, Razy on bended knee. P90 in play at this early in the game as well. Good to see.
Trying to run back through, but Razak just goes straight into the crosshairs, and one by one this is looking a bit more uncomfortable. Nice backstab though from Axel. Quick switch over to the shotgun through the window. Throws the first man down on the deck. Still has some firepower to play with. Zone nipping at their heels. Razy out of the running. Razak knocked. Axel looking to defend. Throws the nade deep. Thankfully for Bowles, he was able to reposition. That one isn't going to hit him just yet. Ooh, he's closing the distance though. Wants to really get in there. Oh my God. Response back from Axel's quick. And he can get the meds in as well, Blank.
Vexy should just about hit this. It's close, but it's still back up again. We'll go for the res over towards Razak. This is a good recovery right now from Vitality. Sadly for them, Aura has made an incredible run down from that northern side. They are fast in position. Bozy is down. Nick McGalaxy currently holding out Ulf. Lord up on high. Ketch has no idea. Caught in the broadside. Will get taken down, but a lovely refrag coming through from Eren. Ulf likely will now play on as 3. Look worse and worse as time goes down. Lord the only to fall here, and Ulf has been very much struggling to pass on by through Nigma Galaxies. The circle in the meantime did move further down towards the south. IQ taking a tumble though. What's happened there?
Yeah, this is not the dream at all. Lord's actually trying to dismount towards the top side, so if maybe they do win out on this fight, somehow they can grab him back up. Oh, good read onto Scarface. Ralph ready for the encounter. Bullets being peppered. He gets him so dangerously low, but he's still standing. He can just tuck in behind the box now. Oh, well, that would have been the operative word. Could have tucked in behind the box. Not going to happen now. Laid out by Ralph. Satan with a re-aggression as well. And this is starting to turn. That's the way Ulf go down. They started out with a bit of a recovery, but finally finished by Enigma Galaxy. Only one player cut short from the roster there. They'll carry on as a trio. Meanwhile, amidst this, we have Vitality, bringing the thunder back onto Hora.
It's been a while since I've been seeing Vexy on the main stage, but still got it in him, it seems. Razak does go down, and looks like Vitality might just want to be making the cross going forward. Looks for Sky. Vexy will pick him up, doing a great job here. Settling in for Federalis. Oh, I mean, good job. Really, really well done here from Vexy. I mean, multiple times keeping the team awake and in play, even versus Flash earlier on. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, big step up. Brilliant individual moments there. Zone crunching in a little bit as well. Ooh, Vitality suffering casualties, it seems, with the Elim feed lighting up. That's Flash that are trying to defend the entryway over the bridge. Another headshot from Tops has shut down Vexy after the good form we saw from him, and Axel has fallen due to the damage sustained. The zone eliminates him, and Vitality finally buckle.
Yeah, it's just, there wasn't a lot of boat rotates from a lot of these teams on that north side. Spent a long time looting up. I don't think they were quite prepared for how southern this circle was going to end up going and how quickly space was going to be taken out of play. But we are in a really awkward arena of the map as we head down towards the southwest side. There's a couple of compounds around here, a lot of open space going forward. Ralph moves up to the plate here. Tony K goes down first. Good shots from him. Will finally fall there to a sideline. But Mormon just cannot hold on. In comes Godlike. They don't care. They're going straight past.
We hear the godlike theme music start playing. They want to cash this one in as they drive past, steal Elims where possible, but focus on the bigger picture, getting into the zone and starting to advance into an actual controllable position on this one. Coop's getting right back towards them. They're going to pass each other.
Okay. Well, like a friendly handshake there. Felt like I was in Interstellar for a second. Yeah, Coop's looking further to pick up his teammates, but actually went back for some more. Satan, I think, is back up again. Not sure about Ralph. I think Ralph did fall down, but this has been a really good game from Ralph. I think it's not, I don't want to say rare, but he's been making some good flex outs this game. Sometimes his flex out can feel a little bit questionable. This time I was super happy with him, blasting the toe caps off of Scarface as well, who was really incredible to see. Just gave it one more bullet, and that was enough. Hazaifa up on top. Godlike tried to send it. Got further and further in, but Hazaifa laying down the law.
It's a great peak. Might actually be able to double down, and he certainly will. Godlike eating the bullets from the elevated peak there of 4 frags as Hazaifa starts to bring the heat to the battleground. Enigma Galaxy got back in towards the zone. This is their POV now. They actually run into Ida of all teams once more. Coop's going to be hit by the shotty. The pump takes him down. And that's the way that one goes, unraveling them. Ida eliminated. We saw Flash falling amidst all this. But Aurora getting eyes on it from so close. They were able to steal a couple points away. Put Enigma Galaxy back down in the dirt. 3 Elim points on them.
I still think, though, for Enigma Galaxy, what a game. What a game, honestly. It was a real tough scenario they went through. They end the match on 10 Elims. I think that's a good profit. I think you come away with this one thinking to yourself, we went through hell and back just to get towards this location of the map, and we still came away with 11 points total. So very, very well done. Because we do only have 6 teams left at the 17-minute mark. This is the quickest we've seen the lobby cold before, off the back of a really horrendous circle. S2G set themselves up, kamikaze as per usual, flying in towards those front lines.
S2G just cleaning house on Alula. They've gone down pretty swiftly. Ooh, Furia might actually get a bit of a read on this, though, with the forward scout we've got from Ayala in the back of the vehicle. So a lot of sidelines being opened up between our squads. Aurora's still got space to play with. In the grand scheme of things, it's been a little bit quieter on the Elim front for Nonshim, but they're still in the running of the conversation. They've had some good consistent finishes today. It's felt like it's all been coming together communication-wise when they get a good angle to play off in these games.
Well, Hyunbin's basically the crowbar of South Korea right now.
He's been cracking these lobbies open.
He has been cracking the lobbies open. It's good to see, and I think the rest of the team rallies around that. So easy. He's been very, very nice on those long sight lines. We've got to come up against Aurora, though. Aurora's starting to really feel it. And despite having a lot of weird finishes where second places, where they should have won, especially versus Nongshim Red Force earlier today, they would have been far and away at the top of the leaderboard. Some moments where Aurora just can't quite finish the job. Even then, the consistency has been good, so it's an impressive showing from them. But we have that rivalry back up to bat once again here between Nongshim Red Force and Aurora, but shots coming from the sidelines does make things awkward.
Oh, nade right over the top. That's Doc that looks to hit them heavy. And if Doc's fired up, mate, Aurora might keep the pace on pretty swift on this one. Fury just off in the distance, haven't overcommitted to anything just yet. Hyunbin still up and kicking. They got height on it. Just can't really afford to overextend too far. Get caught sleeping. This could be a big unraveling for that side. Tizzy's got to bandage himself back up to stay pretty in the situation he's been left in. Aurora are aware of that angle from Furia, at least. Free smokes for Tizzy being the difference between a raw face from Refus potentially coming their way.
I think the problem right now is absolutely that angle you're talking about between Furia over towards Aurora. You've got Top off in the distance there, currently holding on alongside with Zhol. They look to make the move out, but Furia had that angle on. One player very low in the back of the vehicle. I believe that is Zhol at the moment. Can't quite find the next shots, and Ayala's playing it very safe. The angle over towards this way, but Tizzy with nasty nade goes straight through the side mirror window.
Oh. Response back over. They dash some nades of their own on target, but it's actually a response from 4Thrives. Pulling up to the party, looking to third party on this one. Aurora trying to withstand. Nonshim going down as the last man, and So Easy will collapse from it. Doc already piecing out. Ooh, mate, that's the rotate straight into the camp of Furia.
That is very on point for Doc.
He's got that Doc in him.
Yeah, that's the brand right there. Moved instantly over towards Furia, held that angle, made them feel a little bit afraid, right? S2G still got Kamikaze swinging, layering in the vehicles. Circle moves over towards Kamikaze. You can hear towards Ayala, very low. Chief pulled the pin, but a little late. Solke. The pin, but a little late. Solke runs through the both of them.
Vale Aurora với làm này.
He's dived out with the shotgun in his hand, vehicle burning behind him. Squad mates falling around as the shots are being spammed. Quick turn. Finds that one. Throws Furia out of the running.
This is the best Solke's looked in quite a while, actually. I think that he's getting a little bit more of that aggression on board. I think a lot of times he was relegated to being this anchor player. So it's nice to see him, you know, channeling a bit of that Silas going forward as S2G gets the ambulance out, pulls out the rest of their team, gets them rezzed and back up into a position to fight. Not taking any chances on this one. Went out for the first aid kit. Unnecessary first aid kit in the moment. The med kit taking him to full requires Doc to.
Vale Aurora với điện này.
I'm shocked he survived that long.
Ủa thì là ECT với nhẹ này.
Left him sweating bullets, like you say. The clutch heal barely buying him enough time to stay along for a few extra seconds. Now knocked behind the vehicle.
It's a bold maneuver from Solke, but does drag him from the rest of the team. Likely leaving S2G as a 3-man, but they have the compound central. See where the next circle heads over towards. Didn't play off the back of that, but it's going to be Aurora. 4Thrives, ping-ponging between one another. Taking some pot shots at S2G in the meantime.
hard confirmed with the nades thrown over, so much so that Doc nearly went down from the danger close of his team. Luckily does have the meds to fix himself with no one nearby to convert from the lower HP.
ဟိုရဖို့ဟို chicken တော့ကိုရဖို့များနေ back to back chicken
They were playing with some confidence and aggression. Previously, it's been Kamikaze that reps himself in those situations. This time around, he plays close to the squad. They control the compound, but you're going to be pushed from two sides.
Difficulty with this compound as well. There's a lot of space to control here. There's a lot of space to control. There's some flat walls to work off the back of. So teams could send in over towards one side. And having a three-man inside there means they cannot control every building effectively. So these two on the side here, this is over towards the eastern edge. Sat on Aurora's angle. Possibility to move in. Oh, S2G's just got to be very quick with this, but you know as soon as someone makes a move, that compound. The other team is going to fly on in. They're likely just going to wait this out until the circle confirms this is a definite compound finish. But you know as soon as someone makes a move that compound, the other team is going to fly on in. They're likely just going to wait this out until the circle confirms this is a definite compound finish.
Don't invest your eggs into one basket until you know. A few seconds out from that zone crunching, we'll see if it's going to favor S2G once again. Shifts slightly off it, Blank pulls away.
Nasty up towards that north side. Aurora looking to get a chicken under the belt.
back chicken
Would likely slingshot them up towards first on the rankings. Despite what has been honestly a hairy day for them, it really has. There's been some moments where the question marks have been flung out left, right, and center for this squad, but still, they've been keeping themselves looking pretty. Bandaging up between the matches.
Blessing of it as well with the zone shifting. That crate that came in, you can see the Top & Co were able to push over, get an early duo onto that, and grab some extra bits and bobs to armor themselves what could be quite an intense final fight once they now get attention from 4-5s and S2G. They've got a full four-man squad, similar, 4-5s, and they're going to jump in the vehicle, start to advance on this. Oh, that's not what you want. Reefus with a snapshot, Falak falls instantly. He's got some cover to play off here as well, Blank.
T24, he's just out. He said, I am not being on that buggy anymore, I'm dropping straight to the ground, and I think it was the correct choice. Being on the back of a buggy like that makes you a prime target, and he's just realized that Reefus has got the golden eye there. Quick shots, pinpoint as well as IQ desperately tries to swing around the side. This is a mad dash, and one that will not work out in the face of Aurora. More points added, and S2G can do nothing but look on. They actually get themselves into vehicles. They're going to swing round. They have to take the moment here into their own hands. Last game, Aurora, they were able to do some good work versus them. Now looking to actually show some aggression. Reefus goes down first.
Good engage, but how long can they hold on? Kamikaze in the back wants to arc the nade over, has the SMG to play with, one thrown right back towards him. Doc putting them down with the DBS. Panic stations for Aurora as everything is being thrown at them. Doc takes a heavy hit, but he's still standing.
S2G down to 2. Hamzy G on the north side. Kamikaze lighting them up. T24 still off in the distance, dealing with Top here, and Kamikaze takes nade after nade. This bounces, but should go a little bit long here, keeping Kamikaze as a half HP count.
Oh, T24 as well in the midst of all this. That's the off angle you touched on there. Able to strike from the side. Kamikaze replies with one of his own, and these two teams are coming together to make it uncomfortable for Aurora. Doc with a nade, trying to cook that one. Meanwhile, they respond back onto 4-5s as they throw that in. T24 behind the tree.
Doc now worried. Split the difference between two players here. Not easy to regroup. Another nade in the hand of T24. Sent it across. Doc is down. The other might fall to the nade from across the way, but seems like he lived it. S2G playing the game of their lives right now.
S2G,
such a quick swing, Jackie, as well. Love to see it.
This is huge from them. Complete different play style, the confidence out in full force. Right time, right place, and the back door has worked out well. Top trapped, T24 spamming so close to him. He knows he's exposed. And this duo from S2G looking to take this one with force, but they still play it smart.
Makes the run across right now, trying to deny sight lines. Aurora top will at least find it, but the shots are coming through. Kamikaze once again sends straight center. It starts to work out. Nate gets close to the lovely bouncer on it, but won't go quite far enough. Back behind the loot crate. A little bit of cover to work with, but S2G, they've got two angles. Top is going to have to play out of his mind to make this one work here. One first aid kit ready to go. Hamzy G looks to send an arc over the top here to finish off the game. Goes wide to the side.
He's really trying to run the risk on this one. He peeks
Good
over
shot.
the top of the crate, using the smoke to block the angle from Hamzy G so he can take an isolated fight. He's reading it as well. This 1v2, like you say, it's got to be impeccable from him. He cannot afford to miss a single shot. The reactions are going to be there. Kamikaze on the road. Slight height advantage. Throws in the molly, takes the shot, and that's how he gets it done. Kamikaze cleans up as S2G get it!
Last game, S2G. They looked a little bit short there, but this game, they go Kamikaze, Kama crazy for the finish. What a game, not lazy whatsoever, with a quick swing out to the side. You gotta love it, you gotta believe it. S2G is here to play.
We thought it was Aurora about to blot out the sun and cast the shadow, illuminate the stage, but no, it's S2G that once again prove how much of a powerhouse they could be here in France.
T24 as well, man, the jump out the buggy to sit down on the floor. I couldn't believe that. I mean, he made a quick snap decision. But lads, I'm gonna have to live this game out. I'm dropping into the grass, and I'm gonna cause problems.
You can feel the energy in the arena as well. We get the replay from that one. Some big individual maneuvers. I love the strategy as well, Blank. S2G here, the way they were able to control the situation, knowing they had to be so proactive, but didn't overstep the mark. And then on the flip side for Aurora, you're playing with dice, gambling on some of these peaks, knowing realistically, it's a risk that you have to take. It's not an easy 1v2.
It was actually a very difficult circle. And yes, it pulled away, but they were unsure where they wanted to fight out towards, and maybe they had to full commit over towards fourth drives, clear of that angle sooner to deal with S2G. But again, for S2G as a three-man there, they make the only decision they can. It's been something they've been saying all tournament, is we just don't care. We will just push those angles. We will try and get something done in those end games. And it was lovely to see them prove that immediately after that last game, where they sort of just laid down over on Arangal. Didn't quite let that game fall into hands. This time around, they leave nothing up to chance.
I think that does summarize the play style realistically. This point in the competition, after so many play days, so close towards the real big picture. That prize pool looming over you, you can't afford to have any doubts in your mind. Leave it to another team and your dream could be snatched away. Whereas for S2G, they've been rising to the occasion, and that oomph, that killer instinct, that's what's giving them these leg ups.
Absolutely, and in the end, for S2G, this isn't even their best map, man. They live it on Miramar. This is where they usually thrive. So to have some good moments here over on Erangel is lovely to see. Again, a couple of our teams really making their mark right now. Fourth drive still playing really well. Honestly, for them, I think even that early game where we saw Haifa playing the big Lions Rock, where he could just have that oversight, knew exactly what they had to do. As teams flowed in, just denied them. But we do have Kalaris over on the stage for a little hit with the plays.